well. Well, well, well. Well, well, well. Well, well, well. Well, 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 well. Well, 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 well. Well, 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 well. Well, 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 well. Well, 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 well. Well,
Well, shit. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Red. Oh, thank you for the free like. I really do appreciate it, Josh. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Greatest Randolph Stream. I'm your host, AW Aaron Warrior. What's up? How's your Tuesday, guys? I hope it's good. I hope you're good to stay red, blinded, wherever else is going to end up going to be in the chat in the future. We're starting earlier today, 9 o'clock instead of 10. We'll go back to 10 tomorrow because the subject tomorrow doesn't require, I don't think requires basically looking up a video or a clip, a long ass clip for tomorrow's subject. So yeah, so we'll go back to 10 tomorrow and maybe the same on Thursday. But yeah, man, welcome to Grace Randolph. Now, okay, this. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment below. Do all that, please. Okay, what are we gonna do about Grace Randolph tonight? Yes. Well, we're gonna talk about the Acolyte. Okay, if you somehow been living under a rock or haven't been paying attention, no, you're watching NXT and you're listening to this, man. You're gonna eat pizza, watch NXT, and listen to this. But if you've been living under a rock or not been around, the Acolyte season 2 is not going forward. You're not going for a season 2. That was breaking last night that they're not going forward with season 2. Okay? Lucasfilms, Disney not going forward with season 2. No. It wasn't officially announced they're doing season 2, but they announced that they're not doing a season 2. Okay? So yeah, that's the news of last night, that Acolyte is not getting a season 2. So I guess the show left on a cliffhanger. Acolyte season 3 is happening though. Yes, they're skipping a season. They're skipping season 2. Yes. So I guess they're gonna end on a cliffhanger. So with that in mind, they should make the Darth Plagueis movie. Make the Darth Plagueis movie. Okay? Make the Darth Plagueis movie. Give us the Darth Plagueis movie. If you're just gonna tease them in that episode and not show them it all again, make the Darth Plagueis movie. Do it. I'm down for a Darth Plagueis movie. Okay? That's it. Alright? That's all we need. The Darth Plagueis movie. Yeah, I'm having fun. Alright? And I got Blinded coming on in a bit. I want to see some things. Before I start. Okay, so we're going to look at Grace Randolph from her stream she did about a couple hours ago. It's a long-ass stream. It's about an hour and a half. Not exactly on all Acolyte, but a lot of it's on the Acolyte and a lot of it is on the X-Men, the Mile stuff, and some Barbie stuff. But it was a long-ass stream in general. Hour and a half. She did. Okay. No, you stay. You stay. No, you stay, man. You stay. Okay? All right, man. You stay. Now, Blinded will join us in a bit. All right, soon. Yeah. I just sent him StreamYard link. So you stay. Now, I hope to see people in the chat. Red and Blind are already there. I mean, the chat beforehand. Thank you for the free like. Appreciate it. All right. Now here's Grace. and she's going to talk about why it was canceled. Why, and she has a list too. She'll have a list on why it's canceled, and on that list she'll have reasons, potential reasons why it was canceled. Okay. So, all right, man. This might be a longer stream than usual, but we're gonna try to get through most of it at least. Let's get really, really tired. Really, really tired, guys. All right. All right, man. Let's get into this, man. All right. All right, man. Let's get into it. Okay, let's see what she has to say.
Thank you. So generous. Thank you. Thank you, Michael Macenas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very, very generous indeed.
Okay, I skipped that part. What was she generous about? Maybe a super chat. I don't know. But yeah, whatever. So feel free to come in. All right. And feel free to talk. All right. All right. Oh man, just say, just say hello, whatever. Do whatever. All right. Please feel free. All right. Let's get into it. Where's the all right?
I love the little community that we've built here. Thank
I
you,
love the little
Paralysis.
community.
Thank you,
Love the
Andre
little
and Seth.
community.
You guys are really very, very sweet. Hey, Fran. Hey, Fran. All
She's
right.
just saying hi to people now.
So, as I said, Emilio, thank you also. Thank you. So generous.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Really,
Thank you.
again,
thank you.
You inspire me with your generosity and kindness to the community.
You guys inspired me with your
Fran,
generosity.
there you go. Wow, Fran. Fran likes Pepsi and being a good person. That's incredible. And Jacob, thank you so much. Look at all the people getting memberships. I love it.
Memberships. You inspire me, guys, too. You guys inspire me too. You know that? You inspire me greatly. Blinded, where are you, man? I mean, like, you were in the chat. I sent you a link, man. Get in here. You guys inspire me. You really do. You really do inspire me. Yeah. You guys inspire me. You really, really do, man. Make sure to like, please.
You get a membership. You get a membership.
You get a membership.
If
you
you're
get a
interested
membership.
In getting a membership. The way to do so is to say that you're open to receiving gifts. Just Google how to do that. And then people who interact with the channel the most, thank you, Kareem, YouTube decides who to give memberships to. And they decide based on people who interact with the channel the most, leaving comments, liking videos, being a subscriber, having been a member in the past. That's how YouTube decides.
Really?
Thank you,
Okay.
Rashad. From 1 to 20 memberships, anything that you can gift is, of course, appreciated.
So, not Star Wars related, but somebody gifted her memberships. Oh, he'll be on soon. Always. So yeah, so somebody gifted memberships for on her channel. That's what she's talking about. Don't. Hopefully the day will come when I'll get group memberships, stuff like that. Hopefully soon. I'm trying my best to get there, guys. Trying my best. You guys truly inspire me, though. You are my inspiration. My inspiration. All right.
Very special, though, you guys. Really, such a generous community. All right, so we're in for quite the live stream. I'm going to be, thank you, Blair Wraith. I'm going to be extremely careful. In fact, I'm so careful today, although I might be doing this all the time because I think it's helpful. But I have chapters that I'm going to be doing to lead the.
She's doing chapters. I like that. Oh my God, she's doing she wrote a novel. She wrote a novel on White Acolyte, a short novel on White Acolyte, not getting a season 2. I like that. I like that. I mean, she's gonna write she wrote a novel when Acolyte's not getting season 2, and I think she wrote a novel, a short novel on the Bill Dale stuff, the Bill DeMaio stuff with X-Men '97 and Marvel. I think she did the exact same thing. This was a very long stream of her, so I'm glad Star Wars is the first thing she's talked about. The Acolyte. What's up, Sideways? And once again, I'll say this. I did not see this. I know she streamed for a long time. That's all. I was not expecting an hour and a half stream, but she streamed pretty much for like an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes. Usually longer. I have to apply to so. All right, all right. So let's continue on. Yeah, you know what? I like this
discussion. And I just think it makes it a little bit easier for me. Usually in the past, I've had this on the side, but you guys can't see it. But I think just also if there's certain elements of the conversation that you want to skip to, you can see where we are based on the arrow. So here we are.
Okay. So I like this. I mean, yeah. So if you get lost, what she's talking about, she has the arrows there. You know what? I think people told her that. I think that's good. I think that's good. I know I said to criticize Grace. I mean, I criticize Grace, but I do give her props on things. Here's my partner, crime blinded.
What's up, guys? What's up, everybody
What's
in the
up?
chat? What's up?
Blinded. Yeah, the reason why we started earlier today because this stream of first was long, and the Star Wars segment was really long too. Like,
yeah, I
it was
did
like half an hour.
watch some of it. I didn't watch the Barbie part. I don't care about
No.
animated Barbie. I don't care. But the other two stuff I did listen to, and I don't like. There's some things I disagree with, but overall, I feel like. I mean, I was the one who said, "Hey, this show after that ending, I don't think this is gonna come back." I mean,
I thought it was gonna season 2 based on the ending, but now I'm pushing make the Darth Plagueis movie.
I mean, I was more in the camp. I mean, well, one, I was in the camp of I don't really care to see the story continue, even if there was a continuation, because they butchered the entire season. That last episode was not very good, and then as it turns out, this show didn't do well. So, I
No.
mean, the show was started off okay, but I think people saw the first 3 episodes, didn't like it, and they decided to dip. So, and I mean, the finale was the lowest of all the Star Wars shows, which is pretty bad.
This show had like the first 3 episodes were slow. The middle episodes were actually pretty decent, pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, and then the ending, it was so inconsistent. The show, bad beginning, good middle, bad ending.
Yeah, the ending was really bad because it's just whatever goodwill they built up in that mid part of the season, it just went to waste.
1 good act, 2 bad acts. The middle act was fine. The first and the last act were not good.
Yeah, it was just What were they? I don't know what they were thinking, to be honest.
Well, it was supposed to show. It was about two sisters. One dark side, one light side, and obviously at the end they kind of the one that was supposed to be on the light side went to the dark side. They did the switch
Yeah,
basically
well,
at the
they
end.
didn't. If it was supposed to be, they didn't touch on really
No,
anything. I mean, they really were more focused on the Jedi side, but again, they didn't truly explore it other than the fact that, yes, the Jedi are, I wouldn't say corrupt, I would just say misguided. They're not this, super altruistic and stoic as they appear. They are emotional, right?
yeah,
Which, I mean, as I said before, I never was super into the whole Jedi thing. I think that's like my least favorite part of Star Wars. Just because I think over time I don't know, they kind of demystified what the Jedi are, and I don't know, I don't find it super interesting. I'm more in I like the smuggler, the Empire, and the people below the Empire, like Andor. I always liked Han Solo more than Luke Skywalker, so there's certain characters, that I gravitate toward more. And personally, I would like to see those stuff, right? I did like Mandalorian the first two seasons. Then I don't know what happened. Book of Boba
yeah,
Fett had potential, but that was a snooze fest. And, you know, and
yeah.
I think the main actor came back and said, I don't know if I'm going to come back because I don't think it did very well. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
not
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. I'll be right back. I forgot to get my drink. Be
Yeah,
right
no
back.
problem. But Star Wars is just not in a very good place. Even when they do have successes, I don't think really they understand. So, I mean, the thing is, I'm not surprised by this in the slightest. I mean, I think the last stream we did around D23, I was saying, hey, I mean, if the Acolyte season 2 gets announced within the next couple of months until Star Wars Celebration, then yeah, I'll bite my tongue and I'll watch the show, right? But I was like, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think if we were gonna hear about the show, we were gonna hear about it in Celebration.
Filoni
But
and
look at this.
Filoni and Favreau have to.
I don't even really subscribe to that belief. I don't know, I don't think they know anything
Yeah.
what to do with this
Okay.
franchise. They're just appealing to fans, and the fans will eat it up, but I think the
All right.
casual audience, I don't think they care about Star
All
Wars.
right. This is Grace. I give you props for doing this list and putting the arrows so people don't get lost.
Yeah.
I'll give her props for that.
I give her props for the entire video, but there's a couple of comments here that I want to talk about
Yeah.
because I just think and I
How
was
long
telling
is
my
this?
brother this stuff. I'm like, this is like really, it's pretty long. I mean, it's not
40
as,
minutes?
yeah, it's like 40 minutes.
I don't know. Oh, fuck. Because the way we do streams,
Than the other sectors of Star
it'll
Wars, at
take us like a
least.
whole day to get through 40
The
minutes.
only reason why I say Favreau, I don't really care for Filoni. I've always said this. Favreau is the one that I think has he has more talent and he has more, he wants to do more technical things and push it forward. But the Mandalorian season 3 was just such a fucking snooze fest. Like it led to nowhere. The setup was okay, it was interesting, but then it's like the unification of Mandalore, it just felt like
Who's Omar? I forgot
it
who
was
is
like
Omar.
rushed.
Who's Omar?
Omar? You mean Omar? I'm confused now. Yeah, who's Omar?
Who's Omar?
Omar, yeah, I'm confused. Can you elaborate? Because I don't recognize
I don't
the name.
remember. I don't remember Omar in that. I don't know there was no Omar in Acolyte, was there?
No. Is he
Primir.
talking
Oh,
about Quymir? Oh, Quymir.
oh, oh,
Quymir was I Quymir was okay. He was probably like my second favorite part of the show, but
oh.
I
You did.
preferred Soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Start
okay,
out
man.
here, and I have graphics interlaced. We're gonna have a
Good.
real nice live stream. I'm excited. All right, so I do think I know you guys like polls. I feel like Bert from Mary Poppins. I got so much stuff happening here. Did you like the Acolyte? Did you enjoy the
I
Acolyte?
think I think most people in the poll voted that
So,
they didn't watch it. I could be
yes,
wrong.
whole thing.
Mhm.
She might have been talking about a different poll.
Yeah.
And then no or yes until the end will do. That's me. No, I hated it. No, I did not. I didn't like it. And then no, I never even tried it.
Which, by the way,
Okay.
from the yeah,
And
most
of
people didn't
course,
try it.
anybody watching can vote in a poll.
Well, oh, I'm misreplying to Degrassi.
Oh, okay. But yeah, let's continue.
Yeah. Um.
Well, you don't have to be a member to vote in the poll. All right, so let's go through this, boy. Woo!
Yeah, Grace, I'll give you props. You don't have to be a member to vote for the poll, unlike a certain local YouTubers where you have to be members to vote or even chat.
Well, she you still have to. She takes off the chat if it's like Q&A, I think. But during the segment,
No, but
it's only
but
members only.
Keemstar local whole thing
Keemstar
the whole
does that both.
yeah
He does
yeah
both. He
because
keeps it. He turns it off and on when he wants to. So they do the exact same thing as Grace. Grace only does it because I mean I think it's probably
he
because
gets
of
flooded a
trolls or
lot.
quote unquote trolls, but she also says it's to regulate the chat.
Yes,
And yeah, the
and
members will stay
also
on topic, other
it
people
does.
won't.
And since like these YouTubers have a large channel, a lot of super chats will derail what you're talking about.
Right,
It is kind of a distraction.
right.
Whew. All right, so the first question,
More
as you can
starting
see,
on comes in the
is
franchise.
why? Why did they cancel the Acolyte? This was
More,
the
yeah,
first
I
Vote
thing a
one,
lot
guess.
of
yeah.
number the
What's up,
number of
Moon, by the
people
way?
Right,
had
Mo.
yesterday when the news was announced.
Mo,
I think that Disney thought they might be able to bury this in the Democratic convention. They were like, you
By
know
the
what,
way,
you guys want to
this
move?
this
yes, that's the
stream
reason.
that
Yeah.
she talks about is very like strangely political. Um, I mean, she brings up Kamala Harris, and she was like, "Oh,
Oh
Disney
my.
should follow their basically their kind of like PR team." But I don't
Yes.
know about that. It's a
Yeah,
little bit
that's the
weird.
reason. That's the reason they try. You know what? So they can get less attention. I don't think people care. The only people that care are probably Star Wars fans and some moviegoer fans. The Democratic convention. It doesn't matter when it's going to drop, man. You could drop it.
No, she's trying to say that no one would notice, right? Because everybody's focused on other things. I mean,
Yeah.
it happens. It's
Boop,
true.
okay, boopity boop boop. All right, so
Boopity boop boop.
Bruh.
uh,
I gotta clip that. I should use that as a voice thing. Bippity boop boop, whatever it was. Oh, look at that face.
Oh
That should have
man.
been my thumbnail. This face. This
Yeah,
face.
that's a damn.
Damn. Sometimes the thing with Grace, it's really, really hard to find a good face for a thumbnail. With Campia, it's easy as hell. It's
Yeah,
easy.
Campia is always making weird
Yeah.
facial expressions.
right as the Democratic convention was kicking off its first night, the news broke that Disney wasn't going to renew the show. And that could compete with the Democratic National Convention, at least for a little bit. Star Wars.
They should have done it during the Republican convention a couple weeks ago.
Well, then it would have been a bigger deal.
Yeah, what?
Was trending quite high, as were a couple of other things. And so I think the main reason that it was canceled, I have to be honest with you, was the ratings. We're going to go over some
Yeah,
of the
I
other
agree with her.
Yeah.
It's the
conversations that
ratings.
we brought up.
That's
But
the
I
main
think
reason.
bottom line, the ratings just were very
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's the
I think there
ratings,
not
and
only the amount
then
of money that was spent.
I mean, when you go on Rotten Tomatoes and you look at the top
Yeah,
critics,
the
it
poor
wasn't
reception.
really rated highly. It was
Yeah,
only
rating.
like this weird, again, I don't really get this. There's like this weird small group of people that are on Twitter, Threads, mostly on those platforms, because when I go on Reddit, Yeah, bro. Oh, we're pissed. Yeah,
I
then
seen it.
TikTok's
Yeah,
another place. Yeah, so
yeah.
I'll group in TikTok, Threads, Twitter, not so much Reddit. There was
Here's the
just
thing.
on those platforms there was a ton of people who are like they're like the show should get
Here's the
renewed and the show's amazing.
here's the
It's
thing.
weird, but
The show was never officially greenlit for a second season, but this shows
no.
that they were thinking about it. They were considering it.
Yeah, they I mean, well, if you watch the show, it was clearly
Yeah,
I mean, and then yeah, and then in
they
the
made a decision.
interviews you have Hesley or Leslie Headland
And
saying that oh yeah, she has all these plans. So yeah, this was not like uh a shock.
yeah,
If they were going to do a season 2 animations could have been better.
I know. I see
Don't
the Nielsen ratings. They were. She even pointed them out. It's
animated
brilliant.
show, to be honest, the people who like this show, I don't think they
I,
would even want an animated show. I mean, realistically, this is only if they were to bring this back, this would only be catering to the people who even watched it, which is a very
I
small
just
group of
want the
people
Darth
anyway.
Plagueis movie. Give me the Darth Plagueis movie. That's all. That's all I need. Darth
Yeah,
Plagueis.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Arjun. Nobody believed it. Nobody believed it
Yeah.
because people were like, well, it's Disney and it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, they were planning. It was pretty clear.
You see. I know you didn't see Ahsoka, but Ahsoka was. It looked like Ahsoka was planning a second season, but they
Yeah.
decided not to cancel it. They did
Well,
like
they
what they did.
haven't said anything so far.
Yes, true. That's true. And there's a
I'm
reason why Mando never got a season 4. It's because they're getting a movie.
yeah, they're getting a movie. But I mean, like, it's
I did.
I said
But
the night when it ended, I said I don't think they're gonna get a season 2 after
sometimes
this.
this is obviously this is not one of the shows, but sometimes shows the second season ends up being saving the shows. The first season sometimes are always the weakest.
I don't know about that. If your first season is the weakest, I don't think you deserve a season 2 because then who's gonna stick
Well,
around? Like only the people who are like this has potential, but it's like I'm not gonna waste another season. Here's a perfect example of this. This is not a comic book property, but there was a show on Amazon Prime with Josh Brolin, The
yeah,
Outer Range. That's a
yeah.
show people were like, oh, like the first season wasn't that great, but like there was a mystery and people really wanted to know what happened. So they greenlit for season 2. Nobody watched season 2, and then they canceled it, and then everybody was pissed. So I think this is for the better. If your show, if you can't have a coherent and a coherent show for one season with 6 episodes, you don't, especially if it costs
Well,
$200 million, right? Like close to $200 million
to make
dollars.
a movie, man.
Yeah. Well,
No, I don't think so.
Obi-Wan was
Sideways.
supposed to be a
Oh, was it?
trilogy. It was supposed to be a
Was
trilogy of
movie
movies.
trilogy? Movie trilogy, guys.
They were
Yes.
talking about doing a second season, but they never said anything about it.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's happening. I don't think they're doing a second season Obi Wan.
they could. They still could, I mean, but
I just
yeah.
don't. I just don't want to see him win the Darth Vader. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's because there was still no the only show that came out was Mandalorian. What other
Yeah,
Star
yeah.
Wars shows came out in 2020 and 2021?
Just
Was
Mando, both of them.
Book of Boba Fett was 2021?
No, that's
So
2022.
22? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, yeah, I probably would
More
have, but
shows. I've seen some people
but
say,
the
"What
thing is
about
the
Percy
reason why it
Jackson?"
got but the thing is yeah, I would have gotten greenlit for a second season, but let's be honest, like we got so many Star Wars shows since Mando, and people saw this and they said it was crap. And I'm sure if it was the same quality, yeah, they would have greenlit a season 2. But like over time, it was just gonna have diminishing returns. Like the thing is, like for like who really cares about it getting a second season besides like heart like the people who really wanted it? Like the problem was the show wasn't good. That was it. You know what I mean? Like and
Mm-hmm.
the comments in our chat here like sometimes I'm like, man, like people like I don't want to disparage people or anything, but this whole like identity politics and I need to have a show that represents me and if they
No,
don't, I don't want to support Star Wars or Marvel.
Mand
Like that's silly.
Mando,
Can we hold on, Aaron? Wait,
Mando
can
is
we
season
admit
2.
that this is silly? Because someone makes this comment and I feel like this is like ridiculous. You don't like Star Wars unless there's a character that represents you. Like that's what people are saying in our chat. Like play the video, you'll see this. Like it's like what? Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I will, but like no, Mando season 2 was December 2020.
Was it? It was 2021 bleeding into 2022.
Yeah, and then Boba Fett was the next one after season 2
So
because
it
that's really
was. So
it,
Mandalorian ended in 2020, and then
season
Book of Boba Fett came out at the very end of 2021, bleeding into 2022.
2022. Yeah. So,
And
but
then we
remember,
got Obi-Wan, and then we got
yeah,
Andor, and then
Andor,
yeah,
and then I think it was Ahsoka,
no, and then it was Mandalorian season 3, and then at the
and then
ending of last year
yeah,
in August around this time, then we got Ahsoka.
yeah. So
But like
yeah,
continue with this because like someone makes a comment and I'm just
Listen,
like
that's
blown
not a
away. Like
ratings
what?
juggernaut. By the way, keep in mind some shows are renewed immediately. Like, well, we're going to talk about Andor.
Yeah, like Velma.
And then
Velma's a
also,
show
like I don't know
that
how
did
much
that.
yeah. Belmore
longer
has a second season.
Percy
I don't know
Jackson's going to
how.
go on
Yeah,
for.
well, because it was
Grinch,
already
I'm not
renewed.
quite
That's
sure
why.
you're referring
What
Yeah,
she just
yeah,
said. Yeah. It wasn't because the show was successful. They greenlit 2 seasons. And that's how it
YouTube,
got a second
please don't
season.
spam.
yeah.
Yeah, Sideways is right.
But not only does a show that's so expensive have certain expectations, but so does the Star Wars
Oh,
brand. Disney's very backed up. All their divisions have more content than they have time to distribute. Everybody
Yeah, I
wants their
agree,
favorite
RJ. I'm
characters in
not
a movie
against
or a
it. It's
show.
just that
This is
comment
the
was so
same problem for
ridiculous.
Marvel. So spots on the release slate, be it on the
We'll get
theatrical
to
or
it.
Disney
She's
Plus
gonna read
side,
it.
are
Oh shit. Well, bruh. Well, I'll go to the comments. But yeah, that's a you problem. That's what I'm saying. I agree, RJ. Like I don't like when I read that comment, it was like, okay, you as a black woman are not interested in Star Wars at all because there's nobody that represents you. Then unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, and I don't mean this in a rude way, I don't mean this to say you can't be a fan, but maybe you don't like Star Wars. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not everything is for me, right? And I think that's the problem, especially with Disney. And I just think overall entertainment, it's like everything has to be for everybody. Like, then who's it going to be for? Like, there's a specific saying that says if you make something for everyone, it appeals to no one. If you make
yeah. I heard
specific
that.
things, it will appeal to everyone because people will find the parts that they like or that represents themselves. And I think that whole meaning has like disappeared with entertainment. It's just like let's just jam in everybody and then it never feels organic. The representation feels like check boxes instead of you know like we have these people who are genuinely represent the background that they come from. And I had that problem with Little Mermaid. Like Little Mermaid, yeah, it's not a movie for me, but they had a missed opportunity because why didn't they make the movie about the Caribbean? Why?
Hmm.
I mean, and I'm saying this because yeah, my background is from the Caribbean. There's a ton of different people in the Caribbean. Like we're talking like there's Asian people in the Caribbean, there's black people in the Caribbean, there's white people in the Caribbean. It makes sense that you would have a diverse group of people because it represents the Caribbean, but that's not the movie. The movie's just like have everybody of every single,
Hmm.
walk of life. They all have normal accents and it's like this doesn't work. Like it's not authentic at all. That's my biggest problem. Not to say I'm anti woke or these like chuds. I'm not one of those people.
You know what?
Because those people are on the opposite side of stupid as well. Like, come on, like. But yeah, what were you saying? Sorry, I'm gonna get. Oh, never mind. I
I don't
have
know.
it right
I
here.
was thinking something. Yeah, I agree. Well, some people said acolytes for teens and young adults.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a fair. That's fair.
I mean,
Maybe that's why it has a large following
it's
on social media.
and stupid ass is like it's got to. Who is this for? It's for kids. No shit, Einstein. That's kids
Yeah,
and as the main people. Of course, it's for kids. Well, I'll be say this. Stranger Things meant for kids. Stranger Things is not meant for kids.
I would say it is for kids. I mean, it has definitely it's not like super gory or rated R. It's like like an 80s horror movie that appeals to everybody, but without
Yeah.
being offensive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is not continuing. I would also say that the hate is a part of it. I think that the hate is so bad for the brand and has caused such problems for Star Wars that with no upside, there was really not very much of an upside. Why continue to go through that? Why self-inflict to that degree? Now, so we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going.
I mean,
All
to be
right,
fair, this was
then
announced.
when
Wasn't this
we're
announced in
looking at the toxic
2019?
fandom and what
I don't remember.
Can we, was it 2019 or was this like,
I think
or
after.
recently? Let's see what.
I think it was 2021 or 20. I think it was 2021. And
I'm gonna look it up. I mean, someone can put it in the comments too.
I think it was 2021.
No,
I
it was announced officially in May 2020.
2020. Okay.
So this show was announced 4 years ago, and it was in development. So, oh no, April 22nd, Variety reported that there was a series in development with Leslie Headland, and then the show was officially announced in
A
May.
journeyman filmmaker. What the hell does that mean? Like goes from like
Is a journeyman filmmaker.
he goes from
I don't even know what that term means. Let me see what that term means.
I guess it was 2020. I don't remember.
A journeyman filmmaker. Are they trying to say like what he has like done different things?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah, who has a solid work across various genres without necessarily achieving a level of fame or auteur status. Yeah, that's fucking. Listen, uh, I hate terms like this because, like this whole. First off, one, let me just say, I hate the concept of auteur filmmakers because this concept, first off, one, anybody who's actually gone to film school, who's actually worked on productions, know that the director, yes, they contribute a ton to the vision and the story and how it's all shot. But there's a ton of other people making movies, like helping make the movie.
yeah.
So it's like to say like um James Mangold, it's like, oh yeah, he has like this impressive body of work, but like it means nothing because he's not like Tarantino. Like it's stupid. Like
Oh, because
this is only like it's like film Twitter's like has all these dumb
then
takes.
if James Mango as a journeyman director stole freaking the Russos with Marvel, you think they have all the
But
input?
who cares? To be
Yeah, who
honest,
cares?
like the who really cares? I don't
Yeah,
understand this
you
whole
could.
argument that people put out there because it's like you're diminishing the person's work. Which, by
Yeah,
the way, I don't know if this term, this is like a term that must be like an internet term because I've never heard of this term. I'm gonna look it up. I could be wrong. I'll say I could be wrong, but like because I remember like when we would do film studies and we would talk about auteur theory, it was just dumb because there's so many good directors who you're like, could you even say that they're auteur? Like David Fincher. Like David Fincher does not fit under an auteur umbrella because none of his movies have a distinct style. He just has a worth ethic that is different from other directors that may make his work like noticeable. But
yeah.
the film Twitter, like this is what I say, like everything on Twitter, take it with a grain of salt because half the people who are saying this, they don't fucking know, right? Or they're people who are inexperienced, they don't have the experience to say these things, or they just say these things because it's catchy and it gets them likes. So I'm sorry, but it just triggers the fuck out
Film
of me when I
Twitter,
hear shit like that.
film
Because
Twitter.
yeah, because
when
he's a
they're
good
not day
director.
one,
Like, come on.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Twitter. I think so. Some of the things I think to take away from
Well,
this.
see, you know
The
what?
Acolyte trend.
It's true the ratings were not good and did drop over as the show went on, but she should show that as evidence because she's done it in the
She
past.
does. I think she did,
Oh, okay.
or she's going to. I
Every
could be
night that
wrong.
it
Okay.
aired, sometimes at number one.
Oh, it's a
Met
checklist and then
nothing
she'll
in
go
terms of
over.
its viewership. So I think that's a little bit concerning. Many of you often say Twitter is not real life, as Sean just said. But
Well,
also, here's
Twitter
another
is
issue. I asked
Twitter
somebody
is
how you
real life,
watched it.
but the shit people say on there is like misconstrued,
Yeah.
exaggerated, and then it's like then it becomes reality in some sick way,
Yeah,
right?
it's the people say this stuff on there just to rile people up. To get a
Yeah,
reaction.
like people do say bullshit that does become real. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's like a, 50-50 on that one, but
Yeah, yeah.
Is right now in the poll, never even tried it is the top response. A lot of
not
people
surprising.
discovered watch The Acolyte through other venues. And I'm not just talking piracy. I'm talking the multiple clips that would appear on social media, uh, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, reaction channels. People would basically try and
Yeah,
find any
sideways,
way
yeah.
that they could watch The Acolyte without actually tuning into the show on Disney Plus.
But yeah, you know what? But if they did that, I mean, the show wasn't good, but like, you're still kind of missing out if you just know because if you just watch the clips of the show, you really don't want to know what's really going on. You can't really say it's bad. Because sometimes clips, yeah, you can find good movies from one bad clip, and if that automatically assumes that movie is bad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, by the way, a journeyman filmmaker is
Oh,
a common term. So yeah, I was wrong. I'm just looking
hey,
it up now.
I'm a journeyman.
Uh, but I still like I just hate that. I just hate this fucking concept of an auteur. An auteur, to be honest, in my opinion, and maybe this is a crazy fucking idea, but it's just my opinion. To be an auteur filmmaker, I feel like you should have your finger in every single like you should be able to do every single part of the development by yourself. That would make you an auteur director. But when everybody else is around you, it's other people's work as well. So it's not fair to the people
It's,
who like the cinematographer and all that because it's their work. So it's like, like yeah, the director was like, "Yeah, I want you to do your style," but it's also their style. And that's why it works. So, but an auteur filmmaker should be able to, if you like, they should be able to pick up a
yeah,
camera, record, do the sound design themselves, edit the video, direct the actors. They should be able to do every single little thing. But obviously, that is time consuming as fuck. So it's
yeah,
like, yeah, and most movies would take years and years if that were the case, right? And on top of that, too, you can do that for $1 million production. There's just way too, it would have to be much smaller. But anyway, I'm rambling.
yeah. That's good.
Because they didn't. I think it's a combination of not wanting to give the show ratings, but then I also think it's an inadvertent
Yeah,
situation
that's
where
true,
people go,
RJ.
"Why should I watch it? I've already seen the major seasons."
Yeah, but the thing is, but yeah, there's people like you, RJ, who don't like it, and other people, obviously. But you got to be careful which people are saying, or you got to be careful which people are watching it, because we talk about the fandoms all the time. Do you take them legit with
Yeah,
this?
but if I mean what RJ's saying is true though. Like there's people of all different types hating on the show, and they're
Yeah,
not chuds. I've seen people like
you
there's this
just
one girl, I forget her name, Jezebel. No, it's something Bell. Like I'm not gonna say because I don't remember off the top of my head. But I
okay.
seen her video. She's not a chud at all. And I mean she talks about a lot of comic book movies. She seems like a big fan of comics and stuff, but she shat all over the show.
I
And I mean it
I
got her a
guarantee,
bunch of views.
I guarantee you, if this is a movie, people will be watching it, like they did with Madame Red for a
Would
week
people
at
be
least.
people if
Yeah,
this
they
was a
would.
movie,
They would be.
man, I don't know how this would do as a movie actually. That's actually
Well, look
interesting.
at Madame Red, for example. That was on Netflix. Was the movie for like a week, number one movie of a week, because people want to see how bad it was. Is it?
Yeah.
You made them got that. All right. All the correct is being asked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anthony.
No, it's all right.
Scenes
It,
on
it,
social media
it is a
as soon as you,
Streamlabs thing
you know, as soon as
still.
you logged on.
There, guys.
So I think it's a mix of people intentionally doing
No,
that
he's
and
not.
then
I'm
people
not seeing it.
intentionally
Okay.
doing it. And I think that, I'm surprised that the studios aren't more careful about.
Well,
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point too. Yeah, Christian Harloff. I've been watching some of his videos recently, and he said himself that he wanted to like the show. He watched the show right up until the ending. He said it wasn't good. John Roca too. Also, I mean, I know he's a little bit more aggressive, but
Oh,
I mean, he's not. But he's not a chud. We wouldn't say he's a chud. So
well,
he
he's
didn't
the
like the
opposite. He's a
show.
major opposite of a chud. Major.
Yeah, he said it wasn't a good show. There's a lot of people who are well respected. They're on. I don't want to say that they're on the opposite side, because those people don't really. I think they do a better job of balancing the political aspect and being fair.
Well,
But
she pushed the political aspect, and these guys don't.
I think
John
Grace
Wilco
is
might.
like a little smarting up a little bit, but in this
Yeah.
video, she says something that I'm like, it's not that I'm like, oh yeah, I don't like Kamala Harris or whatever, but I'm just like, this is kind of weird that you would say this. It doesn't really fit, and I don't think it's a good job to like
Well,
model.
she likes she
I
likes
think,
Donald Trump.
I still think I mean, I think the best saying is, what Michael Jordan said, Republicans buy Air Jordans. I think people need to remember that because it's like if you dehumanize one side of people because of what they vote for instead of realizing that they're all individuals, yeah, some of them may be dunces and racist and all these different stuff. But to say that about everyone, I think
Oh,
that's causing a massive problem.
you should see when Hogan called Kamala Harris. Hulk Hogan.
I'm sure
I
it wasn't good.
no, it was that. I'm be careful here. He was telling you want me to buy some Kamala Harris? Okay, I'm
Oh man,
paraphrasing. This is his words. You want me to buy some Kamala Harris? That's not the worst part blinded. He said that chameleon, that Indian.
jeez. I
Yeah,
mean, that's another whole thing that they talk
I'm.
about with this identity politics is she's mixed race, but then it's like they're having a hard
Yeah.
time understanding that. Like,
And
I don't
like yeah,
fucking get
like
it.
the like 95% of the world's mixed.
I don't know
We
about
all
90,
a
95.
lot, at least
I
over
mean,
50.
we're all like, yeah, if
Yeah,
you were to do a DNA thing, yeah,
uh,
you'd have mixed like different genes, from different places and stuff, but
yeah. I mean,
I mean, visibly mixed because
oh,
because
visibly.
again,
Yeah,
but yeah, like American culture, I just feel like has like people, it's like infiltrated the rest of the world. So it's like race has become such a big talking point,
hmm
and I think a lot of people are recognizing, yeah, race in the past, it was such this, hot, not a hot topic. Like these people were struggling to live their life normally because of the color of their skin. And it's
yeah.
like the thing is racism in whole different countries is like different compared to the states. Like not to say it doesn't exist, but it's
Oh,
totally different,
it's
right?
worse in some other countries.
Well, it's
It's worse.
worse. Sometimes it's like more subtle. Sometimes it's like they don't realize. Sometimes it's like in China they hate political correctness to the
Yes.
point where it's like they just say the most racist shit. And I've seen this personally too. Like there was this I don't want to get too much into it, but there
Yeah.
was a story I have with someone I interacted with and they did say something racist, but it was because of it was culturally they didn't understand. You know what I mean? So, and I think sometimes that
Yeah.
goes over people's heads. It's like it's not that they mean bad intention. It's just that it's like a
I,
cultural thing, and they
that's why I
just,
tell.
you know what I mean?
That's why I say to Americans and Canadians and Western
Yeah,
democracies. And I'll end
Western.
it here.
Yeah,
What you think is in the West is not what's going on in the East. Okay.
no, yeah, or in other. I
Yeah.
mean, we live in Canada. It's totally different here compared to the states.
But
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like to the point where, yeah, like I mean, most of the people in our chat are Americans, but like you guys, I mean, like there's Americans who just don't understand free healthcare, which is insane to me. But
Yeah. It's
again, that's a cultural
About
distinction.
how much
yeah.
of of their content that can be used, because I think it is starting to affect them, particularly with the series. People wondered if showing so much of Deadpool and Wolverine was a problem, but I think it just made people feel, I want to go see the rest of the movie. I might as well go pay to see it. But
Oh,
I think
did you hear how many times Sean Cappy saw Deadpool Wolverine? He says
Yeah, he
played it
said 9
9 times.
times.
Oh my
That's a
god.
that's a ludicrous amount of times. I mean, I did see it 3 times, and after
Three
the third
times is
time, I
good.
was
Fine.
done.
3 times is fine, but
I was
9?
done.
Oh, that's overkill.
Yeah,
That's a great job.
mine. He's like he's seeing it like every like weekend or like every chance he gets, he's gonna see it.
It's, he's,
It's like why?
he's getting hard watching it. That's why.
I wish John Campea
Here,
Exposed made that video about him going to Disneyland, even though 2 years ago he said he wasn't. He said he was done,
Well,
and he's an Italian, and when he says he's done, he means it. Bullshit.
well, he's a cuck because his wife dragged him there.
Oh man, bruh.
I wish Degrassi would agree.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he said he. I found the clip too, and I'm like, should I make a video about this?
Slubby
Because
said he
this
saw
is
Captain
this would
Marvel
be
100
funny.
times.
Yeah, I did see that guy. That's
Was
a
it Brie
meme.
Larson? I'm kidding.
No, but Brie Larson took a
Oh,
picture with the
yeah,
guy.
he is here.
He is here. Oh man. Right when you said that, he just appeared. It's almost like he heard that. Speak of the devil. Yeah, yeah. Bruh. That
It's
is
so
some
weird because
speak of the devil moment. That's so
it's so
funny.
weird. Like John Campea is like that guy Jonathan, right? That's Jonathan. He still has a red face. I'm like, dude, were you in a barbecue?
Yeah.
Like, are you in a barbecue?
I think it might be a skin condition at this point because it's like I'm not saying that to roast him. I don't know, but it's so frequent that I'm like it does look very
There
concerning.
has to
It's
be
like,
something.
damn.
Maybe they put out. Maybe there's like maybe he got checked out. And like I don't think he's been. I don't think he's
I
been
mean,
burned.
maybe he's burnt from the studio lights in that that bootleg studio Campia's got.
You're in his
like,
garage now.
yeah, in his garage, he's burning up. He's like, shit, these studio lights are hot, man. Fuck.
And he's like,
Getting sunburned from the studio lights. Like, that's crazy.
he's the only one that's burning up.
Yeah.
I just love Sunday stream when Chris Karch like pissed all over John Campus when he's ever been asked before.
Oh man. Oh man.
I'm like, she's fired. I didn't watch her. Is she here? Was she there today? I gotta check her John Campus stuff today.
where people are on the
No,
fence,
I don't know. Yeah.
and people are very busy with their time, and the general consensus is that the show.
I know
is
the
good,
graphic thought this is
they
getting a
don't need to
season
go
2.
and
You
check
knew
it
that.
out. So
Yeah.
I think that is a problem that's
Yeah.
developing more and more. All right, so
Yes,
Developing
yeah,
more and more.
yes. And this is the same guy you leaked No Way Home stuff.
Yeah.
And no one.
I'm sure that's why he got denied at 2 years ago at D23.
Yeah. Like
I'm sure if John went to D23 and he was sitting in the media pool, yeah, he wouldn't complain. He would say it was a great show. He would just chill. So it's like, like be honest, right? Like you when you get the access, yeah, you will chill. But when you don't get the access, you feel like, yeah, you're upset. They
and
wronged
you would
you.
bitch
Now
about
it's
it.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the show is trash, and like this is why it's like with Campea, like don't trust everything he says. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's quite obvious why Camping weren't on the D23.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, actually,
Oh.
he could have gone. This is the thing, Aaron. I watched the clip. He could have gone to D23. It's just that he didn't wake up early enough because he made an assumption. He thought he was guaranteed to get a seat when in
pass?
reality he should have. No, he got a pass, but he didn't get into the theater to watch the show because the seats were already taken. And he was supposed to get there earlier, and then he complained that, oh, I told them I wanted my own seat that they would reserve for him.
Darth Plagueis, the Darth Plagueis movie.
If they made a movie,
How come
man, yeah,
he never tried? He never tried to get this year's D23.
If this, I'll clarify again. If they somehow bring this back in some capacity, then I will have to watch it out of obligation. But if they don't, then I mean, well, I don't have to watch shit. But
They'll
yeah,
make $1 billion just to make John Campbell look a fool.
man.
That's all I want.
So
But she does talk
expanding
about
the
that.
audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting question, and this reminded me very much of what happened with. Hold on.
I think this is
Marvels.
where the comic
You know,
comes
the
in.
idea that
Well,
the franchise.
The Marvels wasn't very good, but also had no promotion for it. That did hurt it.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, but this movie, I think they could have promoted the hell out of Marvels, and it still would have. Maybe it would have made a little bit more money, but it would have. It's not. It wasn't gonna make Captain Marvel money. Like the Marvels, like first off, one. Let's be honest. The character since Endgame has not been received all that well. And Miss Marvel and Monica, like Monica, I feel like is the better character out of all three of them, personally speaking, because I think she's a lot more grounded, she's a lot more reasonable. I think she's more likable. And on top of that too, I feel like out of all the characters, she actually did go through some trauma that makes her relatable, right? Her losing her mother, and we got to see
Mhm.
that in WandaVision, right? But yeah, Captain Marvel, I just like she's in my opinion not a very good character. Miss Marvel, I do not like the MCU interpretation of Miss Marvel. Very annoying. Just
Annoying.
like yeah, like almost like ADHD brain like 24/7. It's like, man, it's way too much.
Oh, really?
Mm.
I don't want. I'm not being. If I'm not being the comics or a graphic novel based on this. I'm sorry.
If it's a
No.
comic or a novel, I guess that makes sense. But if it's like a movie or another show or spin-off show, that's when I will like pay
Yes.
attention.
Just make a Dark Plagueis movie. That's all I asked for.
Is expand who's interested in them. And I saw a number of people tweeting yesterday in reaction to this news that it was a shame that the show had been canceled because they never really cared about Star Wars before The Acolyte because it didn't really speak to them.
This is what I'm saying,
What?
right? Like this is where I'm like we live in an upside down world, right? Because
That's just Star
and then
Wars.
someone makes a comment about this because it's like like I get it, like you want something either similar to Star Wars but not exactly like Star Wars but that appeals to your taste. But then like why did you even bother watching the show? Like you watch the trailer and you're like this now speaks to me and then I have to watch it, or was it you saw the buzz around the people in your community who liked it, and then you watch it and you're like, yeah, I like the show. Just like I just don't really like. I'm not against bringing in new people or making stuff for new people, but like like I just don't really get the logic of I was never really a fan and I never had any appeal, but because this show brought in diversity, like more diversity. Now I'm interested. Like, so you don't care about any other aspect of Star Wars, but because they had a black lead, now you're like, I feel like I
Yeah.
need to go watch it. I don't get that personally. I don't know. I really don't understand that take because it's like I've never felt like that in my entire life, and I'm sure there's quite a lot of other people who would say the same. But it's like I would want a little bit more reasoning to that because that I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around that. So if there's someone in the chat that could explain,
I don't know
right?
how this is. If I wanted to do some of the Star Wars, I'm not interested in this show. I'm interested in New Hope, man.
Yeah,
Of
but
course.
but they already established they don't even like Star Wars. They have no interest in Star Wars until the show came along. So it's either they have no awareness of what Star Wars is, or the other stuff never appealed to them in the first
Then
place.
they're gonna get yeah,
Like the
yeah.
Star Wars is not let's be honest though. Star Wars is not some niche property, only a
No,
bunch of it's like no, like when I can literally ask my grandmother what Star Wars is, and she'll tell me the story about how she saw Darth Vader, the poster of Darth Vader for Empire Strikes Back, and how she was like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" And she saw the movie and she was like shocked. You know what I mean? Like, there's people who are not in the total fucking zeitgeist who will tell you some connection they have with Star Wars, even if it's bad or they don't know, whatever. Maybe they remember when the movies came out or when the prequels came out, but like to say you had no awareness of Star Wars, it's like, I mean, that's possible, but damn, like, what were you? Where were you?
Giant Ravish Andor.
Like, you
Yeah,
didn't walk around and see posters or look at a
you didn't
trailer or
you didn't
someone mentioned it.
yeah
Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you don't like it, right?
go to a
I'm not
toy
saying you
store,
need to like it.
go to a store, go to the toy section or video games. You don't like yeah, like come on.
to try and bring other groups in. I think that's a very noble and valid goal. However, as Mish just pointed out, you can't forget the core group, or as I wrote, the fandom foundation.
The
You have to
fandom
build on it.
foundation.
You cannot replace them because clearly there aren't enough new viewers. There aren't enough of this new
Well,
type
the
of
new
fan
the new viewers,
to
but
make
here's the
a
thing, right? The new viewers, even if they somehow did this, replace them, the new viewers are only going to like the new stuff. So you're
Yeah.
going to have to cater to them. And then, but the problem with Star Wars is what the new stuff is like conflicted. Like there's like mixed results. Yeah, like this is what I'm saying. Like, come on. Like, am I being like unreasonable? Because it's like, like there's people like this is like a well-known property. Like it's a
Mhm.
cultural impact kind of movie where even if you don't know it, you know
You
you've
heard of
seen
it.
you heard
You've
of it,
seen
you've
heard of it.
seen
Yeah.
something of it. Like I'm not saying you need to have like there's people who obviously they're like I know Star Wars, I never seen it, right? But they know of Star Wars. They
They
know
heard of it.
it.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, they've seen something of it. It's just they didn't take any interest. But these people, this is what I'm trying to say. What made these people who watch the Acolyte, who are not fans of Star Wars, watch this show? That's what I want to know personally, right? Because I think it's again they saw there's all this buzz on social media. They checked out the show. They were like, oh, there's something I like about it,
I know.
and that's why it's stuck. It's not that they like Star Wars. Maybe it's just that they liked the fact that the main character was a young. It was like we were saying, it's like a young adult novel s story with twins, and there's a mystery, and you know what I mean. Like you could put that in any scenario, right? You can
Yeah.
that could be in Marvel, that can be in DC, that can be in another property, and it might still appeal to the same people,
That's
right?
that's Grace. That's Grace going reason why people just
Well,
start.
no, I'm not blaming Grace here. I'm not blaming Grace. What she
I don't
said.
know. I'm not blaming Grace. I just want to know if she has a reason why she thinks it started
Well,
watching.
why? Listen, because someone's gonna make a comment about it. This is what I've been talking about.
Okay. Let's see.
for it. So this is the same problem that the Marvels had. There were people who were like, "Oh, I'm maybe now interested in this," but it wasn't enough to float the
Yeah, it wasn't
project.
enough.
So I think they shouldn't do the whole show this way. They should try adding one or two characters, and that character could bring in the new fans. That's, I think, maybe perhaps
This
potentially
this
the way to
this
go. I mean, again,
so,
I would
so
not.
this solution or suggestion. I mean, the thing is, I think it really depends, right? Because I think the simplest answer is that the character just needs to be well written. But if you're
Yes.
writing to a specific demographic that again is not interested in Star Wars, I don't think it's gonna work, right? I think that the simplest solution is that the chuds will ignore the whole diversity thing if it's good. Like we've seen this countless times where they will
They do it
ignore.
Deadpool.
Yeah, they did with Deadpool, they did with Spider-Man, right? So it's like if you're not, if you can you put those things in, right?
Mhm.
Or and you can have because it's like I really don't care about having the diversity. I just think it needs to be sincere. It needs to actually be sincere diversity, right? Don't pick everybody of every color and have them all there,
And see,
and they're all just they could easily be replaced by a white
see,
person, right?
this is why
Like,
I have. This is the problem I have with people like with the Lion King, right? They cast all black voice actors. Okay, no problem. I don't care if it's black, white, but the problem I have is they're animals.
but I mean, the thing is with that one, here's the thing. I mean, they cast all black voice actors because it is a story in Africa, but it's not like those are
But there are.
African actors. They're just well-known black
I
American
know,
actors, right?
but I understand it's in Africa, but they're still animals. You know.
Yeah, but I can that one. The thing is, yeah, the movie is not super influenced by African culture. It kind of is, but not really, right? That's not the main focus. But that one I can let slide,
Okay.
right? That one I would be. I mean, I know you have that issue with it, but personally, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal.
The big issue I have that did happen, but it's when I forget the MCU person, the woman said we shouldn't call them the X-Men, not realizing what they were called.
Yeah, that one was stupid. I'm glad
Yeah.
that never. I don't think that was gonna happen, but when Victoria Alonso was
Was it
saying
Victoria?
that,
Yeah.
yeah, she was the one who said that. I don't know if it was like jokingly or if it was meant to be something they were going to consider. But I'm glad they didn't. I mean, to be fair, whatever happened to that mutant project that they kept talking about, this was going to set up the
I have
X-Men.
no problem with the movie being called Mutants. You can still have the X-Men in it. I have no problem with that. But like,
But you remember that project, right? That
yeah,
one
yeah.
I see a lot of people not talk about. Is it just the X-Men? But then why was it announced as mutants, not
Just
X-Men? That was
yeah.
weird. I just that's the one I'm like, were they
And they
actually
know,
going to call them just the mutants? Because that would
and
have been
they know that the movie would not sell if it was not called the X-Men. Like,
yeah. The thing is like it's a cool name. It's not sexist. Even if it
yeah,
was like okay, this was a name made in like the '60s. Okay, yeah, maybe not the most progressive time period, but let's be honest, the name stuck and it works. End of
yeah, yeah,
story.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. It's
I think
just
they're getting better about it, or people are
yeah.
caring less,
It's
or
just
probably both. Probably both.
yeah. I maybe somebody told her MCU too. So X-Men meets Xavier's men, not in terms of his the team of the X-Men. Like not really
Right.
men and not really gender. It's not gender based. It's it's
Like
just
but the thing, I mean, they just need to work on
you know
with this stuff. They just need to work on telling a good
it's
story that fits with the cast that they have.
yeah
That's what it should be.
it's yeah. I remember that too. Yeah. All right.
Not give up on this endeavor if I were
Oh,
Disney.
Let me say
I
one more
think
thing.
it's again
Sorry,
a very
Yeah.
sorry.
Go ahead.
important,
I think also too,
noble effort.
what's a problem that I think they need to maybe eliminate is, and maybe this is too controversial, but I don't think color blind casting really works. I think it needs to be more specific. If you're going to, if you have like the writer, and I know they tell them this, like, hey, don't have like a person in mind, but like, if you're going to write a black character, maybe it really should be written by a black person because Leslie Hedlund is a white lady. Yes, she is, her
That's true.
sexuality is she's lesbian.
She is lesbian.
But
Yes.
the thing is, it's not like that. Like the character of Osha and May could have been any race, and it would have like no one would have made if it was a white actress. No one would be making all these types of jokes and saying all these stuff. But that just shows you that the character, uh, like like the character's kind of not. There's nothing interesting about
Did
her,
we,
right? It's just
did
like,
we,
okay, we got the best actress and she's
did
black,
we,
but then we're also going to make a big deal that she's
do you
black,
know what
which is
that
weird.
they would call May a Mary Sue if she was white.
I mean, they would call her whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't think it would be. They would have never made a big deal about her race in terms of
No.
Disney. Disney, I mean, the actress herself. By the way, this had to have been the biggest face plant of all time. Why did they let that actress make that rap song? That was like, I think in hindsight, that wasn't even a good idea. It's like, yeah, it's fun to make fun of the chuds, but it's like in the ending, your show got canceled, and now they're gonna just say,
Yeah, we
look,
won.
we won.
Well, that's one of her topics.
She doesn't talk about that though. She never mentions the rap song that the main actress
Oh,
made.
I mean, the Chuds is one of their topics. The toxic fandom. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah, but she should have talked about that because that was
Yeah.
dumb.
That should be continued, but work smarter, not harder.
Here's the
As
thing.
Uncle Scrooge.
Okay. Yes. If your movie's bomb, doesn't do well, don't, and it's getting hate on, don't always, don't, the best thing to do is not really attack the fans. Like,
No, don't say anything in my opinion. I don't like
yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Like if for some reason it feels like some of these actors need to like always
You,
address, and I know it's the media doing this too, but like why do they always need to like
you,
dive into the controversy? Why can't they just be quiet and just let it
yes.
and just promote the stuff and say, "Hey, the show, like I'm liking what happened in the next episode."
Un-
Like why not just promote the show normally instead of addressing the criticism?
Unless, like, unless they're permanently getting messages on say their Instagram. Because I know on
But we
Twitter
know they are.
yeah
They
on Twitter
100% are.
yeah. So maybe they should say something like, but don't attack the fans. But to say
But the
this is
thing
not
is, if that does happen, because they were saying they got death threats and like people, I don't like the thing is, if you're a major person on the internet, you at
you're gonna
least
get it all
got
the
one
time.
death threat. Yeah. So
You're a
it's like
celebrity.
so for Hollywood to constantly bring this up and act like they're the only people who get death threats, it's like
No,
it's either you gotta one, don't read DMs, filter this stuff out, verify to make sure it's actually not
oh,
going to happen, right? Because but at the same time, it's like saying, "Oh, I get death threats and blah blah blah." It's like that's not gonna help. You're gonna get way more
and
death threats. Trust me,
and most
because
of the
that's
people
how
that do.
stupid people on the internet work.
And the people that's going to give you death threats, for a fact they're not going to carry it. They're not going to really do anything about it. They're not really going to give
No, like
uh,
the thing is, because celebrities are different status than
regular
Boogie or
people. Like
whatever,
yeah,
yeah,
like
or like regular people. They obviously they do have to care about the security and all that stuff, right? Because that is a risk. But at the same
and
time, I don't
there
think
are
it's a good
stalkers.
idea of
They
announcing this.
they
It's
should
like
be more worried. They should be more worried about fans that are obsessed with them.
because the announcement is only for the
Yeah,
people who are one doing the death threats and two just so people know and be like, oh my god, they're doing death threats. Can you believe this? Like,
hmm
meanwhile, it's like a handful of people. It's not like you know a majority of people. You know what I mean? But and this is
yeah.
the internet, man. The internet is fucking nuts. There's a lot of nutties on the
She likes
internet.
to say.
Yes, there are.
Thank you, Minot. So I think that's really, really important. All right, then next up,
Where's that music video? I want to watch it. Where is this? On here on YouTube? I'm sure it is.
It is. It is. I don't know what it's called
Is
though.
she a singer too, or just an actress? So she is.
No, it was just like this rap. Let me check. Let me go see.
What's her name? Amanda Steinberg.
Amanda Steinberg. Yeah.
All right,
I
I'm
don't.
looking.
Let's see. I don't think she was like. Okay. Singer is
Oh, she did on
she
TikTok.
is. She is a musician, so that's probably why she made that rap song. But it's not a like um okay, I'm looking here. Yeah, she does have some songs, but like it's not like this in my opinion. It's not like this great idea to come out there and be like, "Hey, let me sing about like all the racist people who are watching Star Wars and they hate my show." It's like they know, it's like they're aware that they're gonna get this stuff, and so it's like you're not listen, like the cockroaches at the bottom, like they will stay at the bottom if you're not lifting up rocks. You know what I mean? Like don't lift up the rocks, just let
You
the
know,
rocks stay. Let the cockroaches be under the ground. But when they do this, of course they're gonna get fucking racist people who
here's the
come
thing.
out.
I
Yeah.
know. Look, here's something about celebrities. Yeah, you know what? They're in the limelight. They're all this. They go through this, and they're living their own world sometimes. But they do. There's some normal things they do experience, like anxiety, depression, stuff like that.
Right.
But once is, and you know what? It's maybe not fair to get death threats stuff like that. But once you become an actress,
No, it's not
actor,
fair. It's definitely not
whatever, if you
fair.
become famous in general, it doesn't matter if you're an actor or an actress, anything famous, you have to prepare yourself.
Yeah, they need to just do a better job of
And
of handling the
and
situation because
yes,
unfortunately, like we said, I'm not condoning death threats. I'm not saying, oh,
yes,
keep doing it. I'm just saying that this is the internet, and trust me, if you say, hey, if you say stop, people will feel emboldened to continue because that's
yeah,
how people operate on the internet.
yeah.
There's
People they don't like being told no. Yeah,
no, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And so it's like when it's like Hollywood doesn't really understand that
Hey,
they're not really part of the internet culture.
let me tell you. In football, with rookies, right? With rookies
Mhm.
when they join the NFL, They have veterans that come in, or past players, veterans or past retirement players. They come in rookies training camps, right? They tell the
Right.
rookies, "You're in the NFL now, and there's going to be a lot of distractions outside the NFL. You're going to be in the limelight, and there's going to be people out there that are going to try to use you. Okay,
Mm.
you're in the spotlight now, and this is the pathway you chose. Okay, the career you chose. This is a price This is a price you signed up for. Every
Right.
actor, actress, or whatever famous person, singer, this mostly actress, singer. If they know once they become this, they have to be told this is what's going to happen with your career.
Right.
Okay, and you got to find ways to deal with it.
Well, I mean, I mean, that's why they have the security. They vet the death threats. They have to see what.
Yes,
But this is why
get a
I'm
get a
like,
therapist. You know what?
I
Get a
just don't.
therapist.
I just don't think it's a
I
very good idea to
I
publicize and say this because, again, we know everybody who's on the internet knows it's
I
never going to stop. It's not going to
I
stop.
know I know for a fact the grass will back me up. On sets, they have like therapist psychologists for the crew.
Yeah, yeah,
They get what, talk to them if having problems. Talk to them. Like yes, they may be in the limelight and they may live differently than us, but they still have the same problem
yeah.
with
They're
us.
still going to have the same issues,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I
we
just
just
think the whole PR and like the actors and the stuff they were saying. I mean, she says it in the video too, and this is why I say I pretty much agree with everything she says in
yeah
this video. It's like the cast didn't do the show any favor. The people
maybe
involved. I mean, the only person like she kind of blames, and I don't really agree with, is Leslie Headland. Like the only thing that she did was wrong is honestly she just didn't make a good show. I don't think her interviews were. I mean, she was like toying around, joking, saying R2D2 is a lesbian, even though that's been a joke for like a
yeah long
long time, right? It's not that joke is so old. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like some like, oh my god, like this is some
ignore
woke shit that she's pushing.
ignore
It's like,
screen
no, she's
laughs.
not. Like, shut up, man. It's always about this woke. Oh my god, they're so it's. I don't want to see that. Why? This is the I don't understand. I mean, the thing is like diversity and the inclusion part, in my opinion, right? And I'm saying why because I want to hear, some more inquiry of what you're saying, Kevin. I'm not, allow all different types of opinions, but I don't think diversity is the problem. It's the fact that the diversity is not sincere at all. It's like here we have diversity and it's fake. It's bullshit. It's just
Yeah,
there
yeah,
to bring in people, but they don't care, right? It's
yeah,
just a money making thing. And I keep saying this. It's not they don't so I'm not against having different people and different ethnicities and sexualities. It's like I mean, like who really cares, right? I mean, we all have to deal with other people in our day-to-day lives. So I don't think that should bother people in a
yeah.
movie or a TV show. Like, come on.
Oh, where'd that go? All right. Is this a win for toxic fandom? They sure are celebrating it like it is. And I think to some degree that it is. I think to some degree it's a win. But I think you're probably seeing the beginnings of like the Democrats versus the Republicans, right?
Yeah, and here's
You know,
the
here's
political.
Kevin. Two of the biggest movies that come out so far are Disney movies.
I mean, they are playing it safe.
Well, which is
I mean, they're
smart.
playing it safe to make money.
Well, yeah,
The only I mean right now the only studio at Disney who's not actually playing it safe is Star Wars because if you think
yes,
about it, Star Wars has been the one who I mean right when we got the Force Awakens they were safe. Like the Force Awakens, this is why it's like when people talk about oh the Force Awakens is just a clone of A New Hope. Yeah, like you couldn't have seen that. That was pretty obvious.
let me.
I mean, that was like we all knew, like when you watch the trailer of
It
Force
was very
Awakens in
similar.
2015, it was literally to remind you about Star Wars. It was not trying to push the story further. It was let's introduce new characters and that are going to be similar to the old characters we're gonna have the old characters, but they're gonna be in supporting roles, just so people are like, oh, look, it's Han Solo and Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, yeah.
But like they've been playing it safe the entire time. Like we haven't even gotten a Star Wars movie with a new character who is not involved in a new or who's involved in a new scenario that has nothing to do with the original movies.
The
Rogue
original,
One
yeah.
had a new character, but it was about the Death Star. Everybody knows the story about the Death Star,
It was,
right?
it was basically.
Yeah,
If you think
it was
about,
explaining how
it
the
was,
Death Star
it
blew
was
up, how
kind
they
of a,
got the plans for it.
it was kind of a prequel to New Hope. If
Yeah,
you really think
it
about it.
was. I mean, it
Yeah,
ends with Princess Leia.
yeah,
And
yeah,
probably the worst timing ever,
uh,
right? Because it's
yeah,
like the movie came out and then Carrie Fisher passed away, so it's
yeah,
like that wasn't good timing. But
yeah,
I mean, Rogue One is a decent movie for what it
yeah,
is.
Which is
Yeah,
yeah,
interesting to
Sideways
me. I
says
mean, I
it's
hope that's
underrated.
kind of
yeah.
what you're
Rogue
saying.
One's underrated.
I think that the level of hate was just so aggressive out of the gate that people don't know what to say, in the mainstream. People are like, this is nuts. And I think you never imagined that it would get as much attention as it does, but it does. So, the
It does
Democrats
because
started
it
out saying
generates clicks and views.
when they go low, we go high. And that seemed
I
very
don't, I don't want them to
noble
make this
at the time.
political. I
And
hate when
everybody
she
was like,
goes
oh, that's a nice
political.
sentiment, but it didn't work.
I
So I think now you're
I mean,
seeing a lot
this
more fighting back.
like saying, hey,
And I
the
think
political messaging or the message that the Democrats want to use, that should be what is used in Disney. But personally, I don't think that's even a good idea at all, because I feel like that messaging is, it's like, oh, they it's they, right? It's the other side.
yeah,
It's always about this, like one side against the other side. It's like, I think we should just, because this is why it's like this is never really going to go away. And personally, this is not Disney's fault, right? It's not I mean, these companies are just there to make money, as we know, right? But the political climate is stirred up by something else. And then people with their goggles look at everything through that lens, right? So if you're a Democrat, it's like, oh yeah, you're going to watch these TV shows and feel like you're being reinforced of your political ideas, even though that's something that you're looking for that. It's like the chuds will, that's why I say the chuds will say whatever, because that's the view they come in watching these TV shows and movies with. They're not really there to be objective or honest and say, you know what, yeah, it was a diverse cast, but the movie was great. It was entertained. It was, they had everything I wanted. They're not going to say that, right? Unless it supports their political side, right? So that's why I say this whole political game of I'm going to align myself with this, and then my whole channel is going to be based on me bashing or promoting this
oh,
stuff. Like I hope this stuff goes away very soon,
it's
because
so
it's getting
ironic.
annoying.
Me bashing. Well, people think of maybe bashing Grace. We're not actually bashing Grace in this video.
Yeah, I'm just bashing the ideas that people are saying. Right? I'm not bashing anybody in particular. If you have a different opinion, that's fine. That's why we're here to talk.
You
Right?
want to know something? Snow White, Aladdin, and Little Mermaid are all fantasy. Okay, who cares? Seriously.
Let me see what Jan's saying. What's up, Jan? By the way,
I mean, Snow White has issues. There's political problems with that.
their new stuff. I mean, the new stuff. It's like, yeah, as a kid, I watched those stuff, but it doesn't appeal to me now. And I just feel
And
like the problem with all those movies is that, again, it's not sincere. It's not. We're doing this to be,
why?
uh, honest, or we have a really good story to tell. It's like, no, this is. I mean, you're remaking Aladdin. Like, you know what I mean?
Aladdin did very well.
Well, yeah, because you're remaking Aladdin.
And had Will Smith.
It's
Yeah.
Aladdin. That's why Lion King
Yeah.
made the money that it did. That's why Snow White, whatever the chuds say, it's still gonna make money. Little Mermaid may have opened low, but then it ended up
Snow
still
White.
making money. So it's like,
There's Snow White. There's a lot of controversy going in that film that I don't even want to talk about.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, that's why you can't really these like points that people are saying. It's like the movie should not be, especially Disney movies, should not be pushing your progressive message, because let's be honest, if it was profitable to be racist, Disney would be racist. Okay? That's what people need to understand. And but the thing is,
The
I'm gonna slight Grace here, but Grace
the problem
I
is
think is very corporate, is a corporate shill in my opinion. And
the
she doesn't
problem
get
is this
that the
problem with
corporations do
Hollywood
that.
is the problem with Hollywood. They have they with cultures very stereotypical. Every time there's Italian family, they're always mafia related. Every time it's mafia. That's society too. Right?
Well, yeah, when
Uh,
it's black people, all we
yeah, the
had was
gangsters.
gangsters,
Yeah,
slaves, right?
yeah.
That was like, oh yeah, because that's Oscar worthy. That's gonna, everybody wants to make a
You
movie with Denzel, and it's gonna be, but then it just turns out to be gangbangers and slaves. That's
yeah.
that's what black people have. Yeah. So everybody, yeah, and then the Asians, oh, martial art films. It's like everybody's been like stereotyped and put into positions where it's like, yeah, only black people can be in
Yes.
gangster movies. They can't be in any other movie. But the thing is with Hollywood, they kind of fucked up, because instead of being like, let's give black people the opportunity to make movies that would not only appeal to their community but everybody else, they go, oh shit, we should just make movies that are going to just appeal to the black community and get them in and get their money, but we're not actually going to tell a sincere story that fits with that community, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, like, it's like the Black Panther effect. With Black Panther, everybody was like, "Oh man, Black Panther made a bunch of money because it was like the first big black superhero movie." So it's like, okay, how can we do this
Was
again? So then they
no,
do,
it wasn't.
oh, we're gonna do Shang-Chi. Let's be honest. Do you really think Marvel would have made Shang-Chi
I
if China wasn't a big market? It didn't
I'm
even
not getting
release in
into
China,
this,
but they released it because
but
they made it. I should say they made it because it was going to release in China and it was going to make a ton of money. That's why they made the movie.
I'll say this: Rachel Ziegler, if she went to the Middle East, she would get killed just for having that name, Ziegler.
Damn.
I'm telling you, she's not Jewish, but that's it. But there's a lot of Jews with that kind of last name. If she went to some of the Middle Eastern countries, she would get killed.
Damn. I mean, yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm just saying, the point is
I'm
Hollywood
just
Hollywood is very insincere with their diversity. And this is why
and
I
they're
find it
stupid
I
sometimes with diversity.
well, yeah, well, I think it's
Yeah,
just all ironic, this diversity stuff that they've been pushing, because
don't
it's
worry
not
about this at the
actually
FC.
sincere. It's bullshit. It's just there to make money. We're going to pander to groups of people without actually telling good stories that fit the community.
And
That's what it should be. Make a story for the community, and guess what? Then everybody will be like, damn, I need to go see this movie, aka Black Panther. That was like the only time where like Hollywood actually was like functioning. And then afterward,
true though.
it was like they fucked up.
Yeah, let's continue this because we're gonna. This is a
The
40-minute
best way
video,
for
and I
Disney
want
to
to end this
fight
by
back is to
12.
make good quality content.
Yeah, it's only 10 to be fair.
And also to be a little bit smarter in the way it's packaged and
But
the way it's
40 minutes.
positioned.
Really-
I want to use Barbie. We're going to talk about Barbie at the end of this video.
What's up, guys? Today we
man.
are here with the head chef at Good Food, Jordana, and
But I want to talk about Barbie as a good example. Barbie could have been torn apart by the haters, and was to some degree, but no one could hear that above all the win that the movie experienced.
I mean, I think she brings us up too. Barbie was a movie aimed at a specific audience, and the people who are haters, they weren't. It's not made for them. That's also why it wasn't like a big thing on YouTube and social media, because it's like it's not made for you, right? Like why do we want to hear like some white dude crying about Barbie being some
If a
like
guy went to see Barbie,
feminist propaganda? Like
if
who
a guy went to
cares?
see Barbie it's for one reason only: the significant other.
I did see Barbie though.
I know, but most of I mean, a majority of the time, right? Like
Yeah.
majority,
But I mean, it made $1 billion
the significant
because a
or the
bunch of other
or
people went too.
their child, or their kids, or their daughters.
But the thing is, that's another case of if you make a movie for a specific audience, it will have buzz. I mean, if it's good, it will have buzz because the community and the people who want to see that movie like it, and then everybody else goes, maybe I should go check
Yeah.
this out. But
Yeah. So yeah,
Hollywood is
I
risk
mean,
averse. They don't actually care about creativity, so they
Barbie,
just do what's profitable.
Barbie, Barbie had a lot of promotion to it. That whole month was just them and Oppenheimer not
Yeah.
battling out. They were not battling each other. They
Well,
were helping each other.
the thing is, I wouldn't say right wingers because there's right wingers who did go see the movie. That's why it made $1 billion. I think it's like the chuds, because I'll give you some
Hard and
examples.
Slim.
No, chuds. The people on YouTube. Those are the people I would classify as chuds. Nerdrotic, Midnight's Edge. Those are when I say chuds, that's who I'm talking about. The people who just regurgitate the same shit. They don't really have a lot of thought process. But yeah, because those people were the ones who were talking about Barbie, but like, what did that do? You know what I mean? Like, the people who are watching your content are not even gonna watch Barbie in the first place. So you're almost like screaming into a pillow at that point. Like, who the fuck cares? You're not gonna, it's not gonna get through. But with Star Wars is not the people. This show may have been made for a specific type of audience, but the people who like Star Wars are not that audience. And so that's why the show failed, because the same audience, all they heard, or the core audience of Star Wars heard, the show wasn't good for various different reasons on the scale of people, right? No matter what belief or perspective you had, it was bad. It was a bad show.
Yes, it was.
So
Experienced so much win, and that's because it was largely.
But
kept a
Andor season
secret,
2, I want
and
to see that
people
point.
loved it.
people in
Absolutely
Hollywood
loved
care
it.
about sexuality and
So,
race
I think-
because because it's popular now to talk about that. If you're
Okay.
aware of all these, yeah, like again, the term woke before it was like hijacked, it was supposed to mean you were aware of
Yeah.
racial oppression, systematic
Sexual oppression.
racism.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were supposed to be aware of things that weren't talked
It's-
about. But now
I
Hollywood
do-
is aware.
I
So
do think the word woke has been poisoned by the extreme far left.
right.
And that's what people are. That's just scary.
Well, I
'cause
think it's been poisoned by both sides.
Yes, but I both and I both the far right and the far left will say they're not. They don't. You know what? They're against fascism, stuff like that. Authoritarian. No, I think they're both for it. Because they say you can't.
I mean,
look,
well, at that point, yeah.
right?
I mean, we're talking about a lot about politics. I know we're dunking on Grace, but
Do you ever Jenna, you ever read X-Men? What do you think X-Men is about?
is used to race and gender swap everything. But the thing is that I mean he's not.
He's
His
not completely
wokeness is used to race and gender swap everything. Is what he's saying. Yeah, okay, I get what he's saying. Okay, can we make black? No, because Black
No.
Panther is not white. This is like, and I know that people use that example, like, oh yeah, if race swapping is okay, how
Yeah.
come we can't have a white Black Panther? But here's the thing, right? And this is the
There
argument
was
that
a white-
Hollywood
there
makes.
was one, wasn't there?
Well, yeah, there was a mixed one. He was
Yeah.
mixed, but
Yeah, a mix.
but the thing is, what Jan is trying to say is, okay, like if people are being race swapped, their characters are being race swapped, and that's okay, then how come we can't race swap Black Panther? And the answer is Black Panther being black is crucial to the character. While the
Yeah.
characters who are being race swapped, they could have been really any race because in reality, race is not tied to their character. But I think that brings on a problem within itself because then it's like, well, okay, if you're going to do that, then the character is just going to be they're going to in this environment now stand out because oh yeah, this character in another medium was white, but now they're black because we don't have a lot of black
Well,
actors in this movie or property, so now we need to add one. So then it almost seems like you're doing it not because you want to, you know, tell a black story, but you're doing it because you want to bring in people for money. You're like, okay, we need a black person for better black demographic. I think this is a tricky line in my opinion, right?
why
It's
is
a
Rachel
very,
Zegler? You know
very
what?
tricky line.
Rachel Zegler. That's funny because she got the part.
Yeah, because she got the part. She was, I mean, she
She's
can
a rising star,
sing. Yeah, she's a rising star, so that's why
but
she
she
was.
spends too
Yeah,
much time on X. She needs to relax.
yeah.
Oh,
Kevin says the definition perfectly. Woke is being a
yeah.
alertness of racial prejudice and discrimination.
She's
That is the term. When you would Google it, that's what you would get.
yeah, but it's not. It's turned into where Bill Maher. I mean, whatever you think about Bill Maher has the best saying about wokeness. It has been poisoned by the radical left and radical right. It's
Right.
but yeah, it's because what I say is like, especially if they both want to. If you say something wrong, it's bad. They both sides want to cancel you,
Right.
right? That's very authoritarian. Like
Yeah. This whole. I mean,
I hate the
I think.
extreme.
I think we need to. People on social media. People can get canceled. People can go to jail. And maybe this is fucking controversial, but I think people should be able to have some form of redemption.
And
If they go to jail, they serve their time. In my opinion, if they're rehabilitated and they're, like the thing is, we can't just have people who are all canceled and been in prison and then they're just stuck in there. And it's like
yeah,
they can't be like, yeah, they did a very fucking shitty thing that they should have known you can't fucking do, or they're mentally messed up in the head and they did this crime or whatever it was, right? But it's like nowadays it's like you can't really have any sort of redemption. It's like
see,
once
I
you did
agree
something
with
bad,
this.
that's it.
I agree with this because a lot of people a lot of them got work
Yeah, we
as
were
being
talking about that on another stream.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This whole thing, like it's such a like I think where it was before, like I'm not talking like way back, but I'm talking about like maybe like the 2010s and the 2000s. I feel like there was a lot of different types of discussions going on, but it was like people didn't feel like, yeah, they weren't being represented, right? Maybe we could have had
he's
more
not getting canceled.
big budget movies that were just focused on different ethnicities and
Yeah.
focus on. That's what I still want. That's what I think is best. Let's just make a movie that makes sense story wise where we can have diversity, and therefore
Oh,
it's not this problem where people just
here,
feel like, oh,
here,
you're only doing
blinded.
it for
You know
money.
that character in Thunderbolts that you think is Melissa Ghost Songbird?
Yeah.
They're totally whitewashing her character if that's true. Because that character, the actress, I've seen the actress before, I've seen some stuff. She's not
Mhm.
Jewish, and she doesn't look anything like a Jewish person. I mean, she could be Jewish. I don't know because Jewish doesn't really have a color, but her name is
Right.
not Jewish. She doesn't look Jewish, but she could be. But the Songbird's a Jewish character, so they're totally whitewashing her character if it's true. If she's
Mm.
Songbird, okay.
Right. Right.
I'm just saying, like, and,
I mean, it wouldn't
right?
be surprised they've done it before. I mean, does
Yeah,
anybody remember that they weirdly they race swapped um the is it the Wrecking Crew, the Hulk villains that were in She-Hulk? Is it called the
I've never.
Wrecking Crew?
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
let me Google it. I wish Degrassi was here
There
so he
was
could
a
correct
wrecking
me.
crew. Yes.
Yeah, one of the Wrecking Crew members who, let me just find
Touch.
his name because I know he's a significant character. Like
Yeah.
he's not like the other members per se, but I want to go
And,
see.
so I think that that's a really important. I mean, I think that Disney should look to Barbie as a model to follow. Keep things close to the vest. Mika, Wonder Woman though was a little bit better designed. The first Wonder Woman is a project. Wonder Woman,
What's she
I
talking
think
about, Wonder
Zack
Woman?
Snyder's influence there was very strong.
As being
was
like
made
a
to
female
appeal.
representation.
Here's the thing. I think that's something we've been discussing on Movie Math.
Well, Wonder
Okay,
Woman's
but I
always
wanted to
been
say-
like that. Wonder Woman's
wanted to
always
say
been
with-
like that, right?
Yeah, I wanted to say with the Wrecking Crew and She-Hulk, one of the members in the comics was black,
Maybe.
and in the show they race swapped him to white.
Oh yeah. I
But
didn't
no one
notice that.
talked about that. Yeah, no one talked about that, and it was just like
Maybe you go second Oscar nomination.
maybe. I
I'm
mean,
a
yeah,
fan.
I want to see that movie.
Whether people like it or not, the straight male audience is the premier.
Todd Phillips said they're not planning to make a third movie. And I'm like, yeah, but you said about the second movie.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's probably saying it so they can get an Oscar nomination.
Yeah. Oh.
But but what she's saying here is right. I mean, the male audience are the ones who, I wouldn't even say straight. I think it's more of a male thing, right? It's definitely a male oriented property.
Star Wars,
right?
yeah.
Like so it's like to deny that and to say it's not true. It's like, and this is another thing too that I don't understand, right? How come we never see them do this with the women property or the female properties? Like, did they? I mean, maybe you could make this argument technically, but they didn't like put in a bunch of males into Barbie. Like, Barbie was still focused on Barbie. Like, yeah, it was Barbie and Ken. So that's why I'm saying maybe someone can, dismantle that argument there. But like, it's not like they're taking all these like female properties and like turning them into male oriented stuff. Like we're not going to see, Little Mermaid was mostly geared toward little girls and their mothers, right? Yeah, boys could watch it, but it's not really for them, right? Just like how Star Wars, yeah, you can be a woman of, you could be a little girl, you could be an older woman and watch Star Wars and enjoy it and love the series. But let's be honest, the majority of them are not going to watch Star Wars. They're not either interested in it, like in all of the aspects of it, maybe, right? But it's like because I'm trying to be careful here, because I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, if you're a woman you can't watch Star Wars, or that's not the case. I'm just saying that the males will read the comics, they'll read the novels, they'll buy the toys, right? They're the ones who are participating in the entire property as a whole, right? Is what I'm trying to say. And so when you make a property like this, where you're like, okay, let's just appeal to a demographic who doesn't watch Star Wars, then nobody ends up watching it because that demographic's not interested in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So they are the ones who designed it poorly, right? It's like, and I mean, she says this though, so
I don't think they're gonna.
I don't even think so. I mean, it would be better than what we're getting, but I don't really think it would be much personally.
It's the premier audience for this kind of content. And if you want to try and bring in different groups, if you want to bring in women in the LGBTQ community, and by the way, I think I'm seeing that straight men of all different ethnicities.
I would say males, because it's like, I don't know why she's like leaving out, you can't be a gay man and like Star Wars.
What?
So I think that can't be.
That's why I don't. She should just say it's a male property. I don't know why she says
criticism
that.
Is hate.
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be easier to do if people who just didn't like the show are like, well, they don't care for the show.
Well, the male audience will be the dominant audience for Marvel and Star Wars.
But the thing is, pause. Because if you were, this is why I don't. She should never just say straight. It really is a male property. You can there's tons of gay people who like Star Wars because the reason, and this is what I don't think they really understand this, but Star Wars, I don't really think nowadays appeals to kids. Like it's like comic books, and I think this is the problem. People they just have a hard time accepting is that the people who are still consuming this stuff are adults, and Star Wars was meant for kids. But Star Wars is no longer meant for kids because the people who grew up watching Star Wars as a kid are now adults. And that happens with a lot of male properties. Marvel and DC is a perfect example. People who are kids well into their adult life are still consuming the same media. Because for guys, I don't think it's like I don't know, I don't think we like age out of things super easily, right? It's like, it's always if there's some maturity level and we see that it's growing with us, we'll stick with it. And that's why Marvel and DC has been going on for as long as they are because Marvel and DC evolved with the audience. Star Wars, I don't think has done that yet. The closest they did it with
Nope.
was Rogue One and Andor. But what I don't understand is Rogue One made $1 billion. Andor didn't do well, but at the same time, it's called Andor. The
Yeah.
character dies. Everybody has watched the movie, knows he dies. So it's like, why are they going to watch the show? Why not make a show that's similar in tone to Rogue One and see how it does? Like, they haven't done anything with Star Wars. They just sat on their ass and just said, we're going to make this stuff and throw shit at the wall. Some of it worked, some of it didn't work. The shit that worked pretty much wiped down the wall, and now it's all stained and shit, and you can't
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
anything with it. It's fucked. They fucked this property, in my opinion. It can recover, but they got to do something. Like, they
Well,
have to do something and just shut up and stop announcing shit.
it has to be the movies.
Yeah, I think maybe Mandalorian can save it. Maybe they could just make a trilogy of Mando movies.
Randall Grogu 1 and 2 and 3.
They gotta figure out something because and
Grogu.
they either have to do the Marvel approach where if they need to have, go back and say, oh yeah, uh we said we're not gonna bring back this character or we're not gonna do this and that. I think they should just scrap it and just do the thing people want to see, which is a mature adult Star Wars that it doesn't need to be rated R. It's PG-13, but it's mostly aimed at the people who grew up with Star
Mhm.
Wars. And guess what? That will probably make a bunch of money. Just like
Yeah.
The Force Awakens, it will make a ton of money. But again, they
Now,
just are fucking
so I think that,
clueless. Oh my god.
you know, these projects
I'm
need
sorry
to
for the
be
rant. It's just
created
this
to
is
appeal to those groups, to the straight male group. That's who's going to watch it. Just like Barbie succeeded because it appealed very much to women.
Okay.
Women,
You don't think there was gay men that did not like Rainier in the
yeah,
Twitter?
they
Come on.
probably were.
Yeah.
women drove that movie, and it was very smartly made to appeal to them in a visceral way.
But Star Wars was never really a sexualized property, though.
No,
Well, I
because
mean, it
again,
has
it's
some.
for kids. It was for
Yeah,
kids.
yeah. Except for Princess Leia, Slave Leia, and like that.
They never the thing is they could have introduced that concept
Yeah,
if Star Wars aged
yeah,
up
yeah.
the content, but they didn't do that.
Yeah, like in the original trilogy, the most sexualized thing was Princess Leia, Slave Leia.
Yeah, I think they just need to copy the Marvel approach, right?
Yeah,
Marvel is mostly for adults, but guess what? They also appeal to kids because those kids will eventually become adults and they'll stick with the property.
yeah,
If Star Wars just continues to make toys, they have like an animated show that appeals to kids and but could also appeal to adults, which they kind of were doing that before. But they keep doing that. And then you have movies that are mostly aimed at the adults. I think Star Wars should just need to take cues from Marvel. Like that's it. Like it's not hard. Marvel is doing the exact same thing, but yet they're making it's like every movie that is coming out well before was making money. Star Wars was making money, but then they just stopped making movies.
Mm-hmm.
So like we in all reality, we were supposed to get a Star Wars movie every year.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
They announced a bunch of them. They
So
never
this is
came.
all just it's all just weird.
Yeah.
But here you have this, and
They would, Kevin, by
Andrew,
the way. I'm
people
just
are
seeing your
harassing
comment.
talent, and I think that's really despicable. You should not harass. You should never harass anybody. If you have some criticisms, if you have some
Yeah,
things you'd
that's
like
true.
to share with people, then that's on the showrunners and the writers. It's certainly not appropriate to do that to any actors who are simply
Well, the
doing
PR stuff, the
you
actors,
know,
I mean the PR team, not the actors, I should say, are the ones to blame for what the actors say and do.
Mhm.
Right? I'm not gonna, yeah, I'm not gonna blame the actor involved. Like they're just doing it for a job, whatever, right? And yeah, they'll say things, and that is their opinion, but the PR team should have told them not to say that, right?
Yeah.
That's what it really should have been. And yeah, I don't think anybody involved with the show was like, you know, like maybe the acting could have been better, slightly better, but it's like, yeah, I don't think that was the problem with the show.
Nope.
I think they could have gotten a better script, the same actors, and it would have been totally different. We would be, talking about
It's
something else here.
some of these actors could do. Some of these, even the best actors, could do their best at what the script gives them.
Yeah. Or the
Right?
best direction they're given.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and I
Shut
know
up!
they're
Shut up!
oh man. But it's like, I mean, yeah, I don't yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with her here. We can continue.
that's just really not appropriate. Let's see here. All right. So that's, I think that it's a slight win for toxic fandom. I think they were able to affect
But say
affect it, just like you've seen a little bit with the Snyder situation, the Snyder cut, and what happened to DC. What's happening to Star Wars?
Let's see what the Snyder
happened to DC. However, I feel in both these cases, and I think James.
But the Snyder cut, they were never planning to do. The thing is, Warner Bros. Was never planning to continue that.
right.
Like the Snyder stuff. It was just a one-off. Yeah, and they have all this. Oh my god, and that fandom's toxic too, man.
Yes.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Okay, not the same thing, Grace.
James Gunn's a little bit more of a fighter, and he also very much appeals to that group. So in those ways, he might have been an excellent hire.
Yeah, Gunn is a fighter.
But I
yeah.
think that it's frustrating that the talent and the studios are just dismissive of these groups. Instead of being like, in a movie when two opposite types of people are handcuffed to each other and they're like, boy, I hate you, but we're handcuffed to each other. So we're just going to have to run this gauntlet together whether we like it or not. Kathleen Kennedy and anybody who works on a Marvel project or a Star Wars project or a DC project is handcuffed to that group. There's nothing they can do about it. So they have to just live with it and find a way to get along.
Okay. You think ask James Gunn that, because James Gunn will probably tell you that's not true.
And so that is something that I think that Kathleen Kennedy's tried. I don't care about you, and it has not worked. It has not worked at all. I'm going to keep cooking on this. I'll try to get back to your comment, Michael. Michael says, not toxic, just want good storytelling. Michael, I can understand that some of you would argue that, but I think that you can't deny that a lot of the toxic negativity has been very much targeted at special interest groups.
But that did not affect that. Well, I mean, that did not affect Deadpool Wolverine. That did not affect either movie. That did not make a dent in Barbie. Okay? Toxic groups did not make a dent in Barbie's box office. Okay? Or anything like that. I don't think that's true at all. There's a lot of reasons. Well, for TV shows, also, you're talking about like raising prices again apparently for Disney Plus, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Um, if you're Blind is going to come back. My opinion, if you continue raising prices for your streaming services, viewership is going to go down, and people are going to pirate these shows because people are going to be like, "Yeah, I can't afford this. I can't." And it's going to get to a price point where I can't afford this. I can't afford this. Okay, and maybe some people are not watching the shows because they cancel their streaming service because each streaming service prices keep going up and up.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the thing is, I
if,
I mean, this show, they definitely did cancel the show because of ratings. It's
yes,
quite obvious when you look at it. The show was not successful for a show that was that expensive. Yeah, they
and
weren't gonna
also,
renew it.
also,
The best chance it had at being renewed if it was renewed before the season even came out.
yeah, also like, yeah, some people are saying cable is dying and streaming services is the way to go. But if streaming services prices keep going up and up, streaming is going to die. And
I think
guess
it
what?
is
People
gonna die.
and then people's going to,
I don't think it's gonna like go away,
but
but I
people
think
want to go
it's
back to
not gonna be
cable,
what it is.
and
No,
people want to
I
go
think
back.
people will stay with the streaming, but it'll be different. It's not gonna be like
Yeah,
what it is right now. Like
yeah, and
right
guess,
now we're in the golden age, and I think that is gonna dip off because these companies can't afford to make
yes,
almost $200 million show like the Acolyte, and then for it to just not do well.
yeah, because they
Like
keep making they keep putting big budget in these shows. Depending, even if the show or is good or bad, right? They can't justify
right.
the budget, so they have to keep putting the prices up, raising the prices. Whether it's Netflix, Disney, Amazon. Well, Amazon doesn't really raise
But
prices
you know
though.
what Anthony was saying earlier? I think he was right that if it was 3 years ago, the show would have been renewed, even if it did fail.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, yeah, thinking about it now, that yeah, it makes sense that they would they wouldn't renew the show because if it flopped, first off, the critical rating's not good, and then secondly, and then thirdly, I should say, the they would have to now pay the cast and renegotiate all their contracts and stuff. And with what we just had with the strikes, the studios are like, they're now trying to find every single way to cut down on
They
cost.
Long, there's been an update. They're not doing that. They're not suing them.
For what?
Remember this? The
Oh,
rest
the
of that thing.
lawsuit?
Yeah, there's an update on it. They're not gonna. They're not. They're not. They're actually. I think.
Yeah, they're proceeding, right?
Yeah.
With the
Are they
case.
proceeding? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's continue this because we only got 16 minutes in, and it's almost 11 o'clock. And I don't know if we're gonna finish this whole thing.
In a really hateful, horrible way.
And
Like, I don't see anybody just complaining about story because, like, that's what I did. I complained about story points and character development. But I
yeah,
said,
you complained about the. You complained all the way up to you praised it until up episode 7.
Yeah.
Grace, we watched you. We watched your episode 7 spoiler review. You loved it until episode 7. Okay?
But I mean, most of the people who are or the toxic fans that she's saying
Yeah.
that
Hate
are
it from the start.
complaining, they hated it from the start. They weren't gonna watch it, and the whole thing is that the show isn't good. So like to talk about how the show isn't good is gonna get repetitive. They're going to make fun of the fact that the show is being pushed as this, feminist message. Remember that actress? She came out and said, "Oh, this is like feminist, like the most feminist Star Wars was ever been." And it's just like in hindsight, like comments like that were like I'm not against saying okay, you can't say that or whatever, but it's like it's gonna like stuff like that is just gonna bite you in the ass. This whole like, oh, like if someone came out and said, "Man, this is like the blackest Star Wars ever, and it's only going to appeal to black people," yeah, no, I don't think that's a good idea for a property at Disney. Like it's
a
like
lot of really
it's
below the
totally
belt
different.
comments
Yeah.
that were specifically targeting, horrible things about special interest groups, which I thought were really bad. So again, we don't want to say everybody's in that group who dislike the Acolyte.
Yeah, Blind is not in that
But
group.
I mean, I think you can't deny that that group exists.
All right, move to
All
Andor.
right.
Yeah.
And so Mystic points out, well, what about Andor? Well, that's interesting. I think Andor again appealed very much to straight males.
And
Well, she said that it was renewed before the season ended anyway.
it's already filmed. It's done filming anyway.
Yeah,
Can't be
well,
canceled.
they want, well, to be fair, they wanted to have 4 seasons, so the compromise was we're just gonna put everything in the
Yeah.
next season, and that was it. That's
Yeah.
we would have never gotten another season,
Yeah.
but so
There is-
yeah,
yeah. They're ending it
that
well.
person I think is like either, I mean, they watch Grace Randolph, but they're saying that, so I don't get that.
Yeah.
Then maybe they don't know. To be fair.
Let's talk about Andor. Let's move on to the next one because that's our next one anyway. That's fascinating. I'm glad that you guys brought that up. I hadn't even thought of that. Hold on, let me get the Andor poster in here. Andor. I was just going to talk about the fact that Andor had already been renewed for 2 seasons out of the gate, which is why they're making another season.
One
Even though
season.
it also had awful ratings. Not as bad
No,
as
was
the
it?
Acolyte.
Wasn't it greenlit? You said greenlit for 4 seasons, but they decided that only make 2, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, they were gonna make 4 seasons. The show didn't do well, so then they compromised and made a second season. Just made one more season.
Yeah.
Very poor ratings. And here's the thing. I liked 50% of Andor. Jay didn't like it. I liked 50% of Andor. But here's the thing. Andor was
50%.
designed by Tony Gilroy.
I think it
Tony
was more
Gilroy.
than 50%, if I remember correctly. I don't know why
From
she
her?
said that.
She that's less than
Yeah.
she the Acolyte.
I
like
don't even know how you could say that you don't like you only like 50% when in her like final review she was like she I mean she didn't like it for very like stupid reasons. Again, like there was not a lot of Easter eggs, and that's why she didn't want to like do it week to week, because then like it was getting no views, and it was like it was a slow burn show. But when the show ended, she said it was worth it because the show had a payoff. So it's like then you can't I don't like you can't really say you didn't like the show. Like in my opinion, when it comes to shows, like a show can be ruined by the ending.
Oh
Right?
yes, yes.
100%. Like it doesn't even matter if the rest of the show was good. You could say, yeah, it was
Yes.
good, but up until that point, it was like the whole payoff and what we're setting up. It's like, yeah, like it wasn't good, right? And it ruined the show as a result. So it's like this, and what she's saying. That's why she's like, if you notice, she didn't say that she didn't outright like the Acolyte, because in my opinion the ending of the show, it ruined the show for me, and I personally said I wouldn't watch a season 2 because yeah yeah, you could do a season 2, but you just burnt your goodwill with what with that last episode. Now I have no interest. I don't even like the main character.
Oh, so there's
Right?
a bit of an update from Boba Fett actor just now. Just saw it now.
Oh,
I'm gonna
breaking
read it.
news.
Timur Morrison actually said that he couldn't say anything about if he will return as Boba Fett in The Mandarin Grogu. He also revealed that he was meant to return for The Mandalorian Season 4 before it got redeveloped. So,
Interesting.
so
is that a clarification?
yeah, sounds like a clarification. He's confirmed that he's supposed to be in Season 4, Mando, but that's being developed into a movie. So he said, clarify he can't say if he's going to be a Mando and Grogu. I think he's going to be Mando and Grogu.
Yeah, I think so.
Mando, yes, definitely Kevin. Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, because I just said that. Well, his last comment was that that Boba Fett didn't do well, and that's why the character hasn't appeared.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing maybe he is in the movie, but he hasn't been cast just yet, or
I'll post on Discord for you to see.
right. I mean, I hope he's in the movie, because I mean, what he said, it sounded like, yeah, the show didn't do well, and he got he just got shafted. I mean, the show itself shafted him. You know what I mean? So
I kind of think, yeah, it did. Mando took up the reins halfway. Like, yeah, this is my show now, bitch. I'm taking over this show now. Get out of here, Boba Fett. This is my show now. It's Mando 2.5, like Avengers Civil War. Yeah, I call it Avengers Civil War. Oh, you're reading it?
Yeah, I'm gonna check it right now.
Okay.
In a minute, Mr. Magic. Andor was designed by Tony Gilroy to specifically appeal to straight men. It is very much cut from the same cloth
Okay,
as
I see it
Christopher
now.
Nolan, and also I would say the comic book writer Scott Snyder. Very, very
She always has this
male-centric.
thing of throwing
I
Scott
don't
Snyder
know.
So
under
I
the
think
This
that's
is
bus.
one of the
where
reasons that people defended that.
Scott Snyder, the comic book artist.
Even though at some points
Yeah,
I feel it
writer,
was boring and
writer.
not
Writer?
Star Wars.
When did you think? I don't know. That's a good question.
So
I don't know.
that's I think a major difference. So I think
Well, I wonder what did
Andor
I
is
wonder what did
smaller in
Ahsoka do in its
smaller in
final
scale,
rating,
but is
like
designed
in
in a
its
way that doesn't
finale?
have hate. It doesn't bring hate on board.
That's a good
Because
question.
I
That is
assume
my
the
opinion. For
show
instance,
like hold on, pause. I
Andor
know
doesn't have a single major main female character.
That's a good
we
question.
might not get through
So,
this,
you
but
know,
I
he
did
doesn't
want
have
to
a
say
lot of
this
female
thing.
characters, period. You know,
Oh, oh shit. I should have never said anything. Fuck. Okay, but anyway, I'll just say it here. Okay. I'm going to guess based on the ratings of each season what had the biggest finale. So I'm gonna say the biggest finale is either Mandalorian season 1 and 2,
Let's check out Ahsoka.
and then I would say it's probably also season 3, second. Are you looking up the ratings for the last episode? Do we even have that information? Because
I'm
this is what I was just saying. I'm
looking
curious.
right now.
And then I would say either Obi-Wan is fourth, and then Book of Boba Fett, and then I think it's because it's at the time, right? So then I would say it's either Andor had the bigger season finale, and then it was Ahsoka, and then it was Acolyte. Maybe we can like flip Ahsoka, but I'm not sure because it didn't sound like Ahsoka like was doing that great. So, I mean, again, that's
It
just my
was
guess because I don't know anything right now.
Corey Nielsen, 575 minutes, 8 episodes. It was second behind Love Is Blind. So 11th overall, but number 2 in originals from
That was
Nielsen.
Ahsoka,
Yeah, behind Love Is
Okay.
Blind. It's on Reddit. I just like Star
but
Wars.
that was when the
So-
show was finished.
Star Wars leaks. Yeah, I just typed in Ahsoka ratings and
Okay.
got yeah.
Okay, let me. I
8
mean, what you're
episodes.
saying that would I mean wouldn't that be good? Let's see.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I remember I mean, the thing is, they did make a big deal about the Ahsoka numbers when it first started, just like the Acolyte.
So
The starting numbers in reality, I guess they don't mean much. Because if this show got canceled because of the finale didn't do well, then
if you like Ahsoka, if you like the Rebels, if you like
I have
Thrawn,
not seen Ahsoka either.
that's
Because I'm not interested in all of that stuff.
Diego Luna, Stellan.
you might have to for one of the future movies though. 'Cause
No,
I
I'll
believe
just
one-
watch a YouTube video. I'm not watching that.
Okay.
And I think that's really a big part of why the show did so well and was well received. But I think that if Andor hadn't already been greenlit for a second season, it never would have gotten one because the ratings were very, very poor.
Like, I wish they
Thank
would
you,
just
Modern
release all
Thank
this
you
stuff.
very much.
Yeah.
It says, it says Ahsoka episode 8. So in terms of well, they didn't put it on the overall chart. Like, what the hell? But on the
Really?
original chart, it has it was second to Love Is Blind.
Yeah. An overall chart. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
That's what I
So
was
I'm
gonna- I
looking
was-
here because it's like it seems like
Yeah,
Ahsoka had remarkably similar ratings throughout the season, while other Star Wars shows seem to have major peaks and droughts.
Yeah, Ahsoka's
So
steady. Yeah, it seems so. Ahsoka it seems was steady, right? Went
right,
steady. Yeah, no
that's what
peaks or just.
that comment's saying.
I mean,
Then
I guess that's good if if it's high. I don't know. Like, I guess it's consistent.
yeah, it's consistent,
I
but
mean,
they
it's better
haven't
than having
announced the
droughts.
season 2. That's what
No,
I want to know. Like, because the Nielsen ratings, yeah, it fell off completely with the Acolyte.
you know
This
what?
one, I mean, I want to see because this is
I should I should get tickets to for an expo because I know
I
what's real
just I
process
really
there.
wish they just released the freaking numbers so we can see like just so we know like
You know what?
it being a secret. Well, yeah, Ahsoka. Okay, Ahsoka did perform better than Andor. This article from Screen
Yes,
Rant
yes,
is
I know
saying.
that. I know that. Beats
So then
Ahsoka.
maybe I would shift it. That Andor is probably the lowest. Yeah, yeah, I did.
Acolyte beat Andor.
Ahsoka outpaced Andor the season finale by 46%, and then trailed The
That's
Mandalorian season 3 by 42%.
wow.
That's what the article
So what's the
says.
second most watched show that's not Mandalorian related?
I'm gonna guess it's Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan?
I'm going to
Probably.
guess.
Because it is a
But
character.
I'm gonna look and see.
I mean, it's a throwback character and a character people want to see. So I would think that's a good reason why it would be the second most watched.
Okay. So I'm looking at that. This is like 10 months ago. So uh okay, because I'm trying to decipher this chart here. So finale. So the best finale was Mando season 2, but it doesn't have Mando season 1 on here.
Oh,
The
okay.
low and then so then the second one was Mando season 3, and then the third was the Kenobi, and then Boba Fett. No, actually Boba Fett is higher, sorry. Boba Fett is higher than Obi-Wan slightly. But
Oh, really?
this is average minutes episode, yeah. So that's what the chart's saying. Hold on. Uh, number 1, episode 1. Okay, so okay, I'm looking at the final episode. The best one is Mando season 2. Then it's Mando season 3, and then it's Boba Fett, and then it's Obi-Wan. It says here Andor has more minutes than Ahsoka. Ahsoka
Hmm.
in this chart here that I'm seeing has the lowest.
Hmm.
So it started. The thing is, Andor started off pretty low in terms of the first 3 episodes, right? Because they all released at the same time. Ahsoka was higher, but then it it did stay consistent. Like Andor, it was like dropping off. It was like 485 million, and then it would drop to 356 million, and then it would actually go up to 405 million. Then it will go up again to 418 million, and then it was 385 million. It's minutes, right? Sorry, I'm saying
Yeah,
million.
it's minutes. Yes, it's minutes.
Sorry, minutes. Sorry, I'm looking at the because it says M, so but I'm saying million. So, but anyway, so yeah, the numbers for Andor were inconsistent. Mandalorian has some peaks, and then it also has some drops with both season, and then same thing with uh Boba Fett. Like Boba Fett really had some hard dips. But I mean, from this chart, it would say that Ahsoka didn't do well in
Hmm.
terms of like the final episode compared to Andor, which that's not what that other article was saying. It says, and then the top comment here says, I'm starting to think that fans overestimate how much the general public and people outside of social media love Haydenson and the prequels. Yeah. Because yeah, if, I don't think a lot of people care for the prequels.
So
So
I turn up the speed a bit, so you get as much as possible.
yeah, we'll get through what we can. But I mean, at
Well,
this point on,
the Emmy nominations have already been out, so I don't think Andor's
yeah,
getting in. Not for this year, at least.
it did the last year.
Yeah, but not this year. This not the one coming
No,
up.
because it didn't come. It didn't come out.
No.
And yeah,
Shogun's like the early favorites to win a majority of them, the awards.
next year probably.
Yeah, next year.
You know,
If
Mon
it comes
Mothma's
out
on the
in time.
show, but she's still very much supporting. And you know, she didn't really take any leads. You know, Mon Mothma was like, "Help me! What should I do?" You know. And that's right, Andrew. Andor did get nominations, but you know, Disney's not waiting around to see if the Acolyte gets any. Kevin says, "Grace, I think you're right.
I wonder if Ahsoka didn't do well.
But look,
If it's somehow like again, maybe I'm looking at it. I'll just say I'm probably maybe not looking at the numbers right because it's like, why is this article here saying something else when you look at the data? Again, I'll say this is Nielsen viewership numbers of all the Disney Plus Star Wars. This is from Star Wars Leaks. What I was just talking about before was analyzing the same thing. Ahsoka finale performance better than Andor, but 42% worse than The Mandalorian. That's from Screen Rant. Again, I didn't read the article, but that's the headline. So are they not looking at Nielsen rating? Is that why? Or are they looking at something else?
that's a good question.
Well, they're looking at Samba TV. So there you go.
Samba's not really the best though, is it? Like,
No, it's not super accurate, but I think more people
yeah,
prefer Nielsen.
that's
So that's why.
that's a Snyder cult go to a Samba. I remember
Yeah.
that. It didn't do well on Samba.
But in
right?
terms of the Nielsen chart, it says Ahsoka, Andor did better than Ahsoka.
Okay.
that context. Well, yeah, that's something that's gonna, you know, Barbie didn't have to deal with that, but that's something that you know, and also, you know, Leslie Headland, you know, was a lightning rod, and you know, I wish there had been some clarification as to her involvement in the situations that she was involved with.
Like what? Like clarify what about her working with Harvey Weinstein?
And so,
like, why? Like, why does she have to clarify about that though? Like, that's never going to be clarified.
There's a lot of people in Hollywood that work with.
Yeah, if that's the case, then why don't we all get everybody's clarification on?
Oh yeah, by the way,
that doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of Ben Affleck, guess what? Him and J-Lo are getting a divorce.
Yeah, that's been a rumor.
You know what? Here's the advice for those two: don't get married ever again.
Well, why did he go back to his ex after 20 years?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, blinded, but marriage is a beautiful thing, but these two are not meant for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they broke up before, and then somehow they got up.
How many marriages have J-Lo have? Didn't she have like 3? Like,
yeah, she has been married multiple times. So
just don't get married, please. Don't get married ever again.
I think J-Lo's kind of shady though. She is involved with the P Diddy stuff.
You know, I know that celebrities get divorced a lot. It's true. But when it's normal people that get divorced 2 or 3 times, never date that person.
Yeah.
Okay? Never get engaged or date that person. It's just a sign. If somebody gets divorced,
multiple times, yeah.
Yeah. It's not you, it's them. It's them. It's really not you, it's them word. You know how people use that as an excuse it's to break up? In that kind of scenario, it is really them. They say it's you, it's not them, because they try to not to hurt your feelings, right?
Right.
But like,
oh, you know, again, it's hard to navigate these things, and especially with somebody, you know, I can't.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
Bob Chapek. Yeah, that's all true. Yeah,
you know, and it's a complex situation. But let's talk about the next thing, okay? And let's talk about, do studios have a responsibility regarding representation? You know, that also brings to mind the Eternals. I saw some people last night when this, let me close the poll. All right, hold on. 44% of you never even tried the Acolyte. 29% did and didn't like it. 15% of you liked it until the end, and only 10% of you enjoyed the entire show.
Whoa.
I mean, again, it's just a no-brainer not to continue with it. Now, a number of people said, you know, So now somebody here just said, why is anybody defending this show? Who said that? I wish I could see who it was. Okay. So anyway, the reason that people were defending the Acolyte is that they felt there was potential there. That while it wasn't perfect, the Acolyte did bring certain groups into Star Wars that were missing. And so people felt other shows get a chance to find their footing. Why not the Acolyte? And that brings up a larger discussion. Does Star Wars, this studio, have a responsibility to make these stories, to tell these stories? I feel yes and no. I think that yes, just as I said that they have a responsibility to have representation, they have a responsibility to tell different types of stories. However, I think they also have a responsibility very much to the brand. Let's bring in all the leadership here. They have a responsibility to not torpedo the brand, to benefit a smaller group. Their primary goal is to make the fandom happy. Already loves the product.
The thing with Star Wars and why Star Wars is different in Marvel and DC. Marvel and DC has 60, 70 years of stories, right? Changing over time, right? Right? Star Wars really had this prequel series. And yes, they had like graphic novels, comics that were not canon, but they really haven't explored the universe, created a universe like Marvel and DC over the years. So it's really lately since Disney got in charge, they started to expand the Star Wars universe. Basically, the last decade, I would say, right? They started to expand the whole universe. There's more to this universe, right? They started to get creative, right, with the universe. Unlike Marvel and DC, where we had years and years of that. So they're trying to do it really, really fast. That's my issue with Star Wars. I think they're trying to create a universe so quickly, and you know what I'm trying to say here? Like it's getting in the way. Instead of slowing down, I think it's getting in the way. Right?
Yeah.
So, because yeah. Yeah. I mean, they could have added a lot of canon stuff. Yeah.
Then they can go, hey, maybe we could bring some new fans into the fold. Wouldn't it be cooler if even more people liked what you like? And that really should be, I think that Kathleen Kennedy, unfortunately, from day one almost had an adversarial take when it came to the hardcore Star Wars fans. And I think that was unfortunate. And I called that out from the very beginning. I was like, this isn't the way to go. It's just, I don't think this is a very good approach.
Okay.
Stephanie says, I feel
you got obviously for the hardcore Star Wars fans, but there's the Star Wars fans. Star Wars is almost 50 years old. Okay? A lot of kids who saw this movie, whether they're teenagers or kids, guess what? They're freaking 60, 70 years old. Okay? You gotta also introduce a younger fan. Fandoms survive by getting new fans. They die if you don't get new fans. Like Star Wars is literally 50 years old in 3 years. You know what I'm trying to say here? Blind?
Right. Yeah, Star Wars is going to be in what, 4 years? No,
Yeah,
4
no,
years.
3.
3 years.
3 years. 50 years old. Degrassi, who was in this chat, was a young teen when it came out. I'm not hitting on your age, but I'm just trying to make a point here, right? 50 years ago, almost 50 years ago, right? And he was 8. Yeah, 8. So guess what? If there's 30 or 40-year-olds that like Star Wars from the 70s, guess what? They're not alive anymore.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe if there's 30, they could still be alive. They'll be 80.
Well, some of them are still alive, but yeah.
Yeah. If you're 50 years old, congrats on getting to 100 years old. I mean, that's a good. Yeah. Oh, see, the grass is 7. See, here's the thing: fandom survive by getting new fans, mostly younger fans. If they don't, the fandom dies. There's no. Okay. It's not always about catering to the heart. Here's the thing: with big fandoms like Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and other things, yes, you have to respect the hardcore fans, but you have to get you have to get people interested, more fans into it. If it's a smaller fandom, like a niche fandom, a niche property, I would say she has a point, but not with big fandoms like this, big
Right.
IPs like this. Yeah, that's true, Degrassi.
I feel like Star Wars will never speak to her as a black woman from the decisions they are making. They're telling me that they are not interested. And I feel horrible that you feel that way, Stephanie. I think Amanda Stenberg did a very nice job. She deserved a better show. And that's where I feel like
But the thing is, that person say that as a black woman. But the thing is, that show, her color of her skin was never a topic of the show.
Yeah.
Like a story. Of
Oh,
the show.
this is the comment I was talking about, right?
Oh, yeah, really? This was it?
Yeah, where the commenter talks about how they, as a black woman, felt like they're not being represented or something.
But the thing, yeah, because
There isn't a lot of black female characters in Star Wars, to be fair. But
I mean, look, Lando, people love him.
yeah,
Finn,
but
people
I said black female
female. Well,
characters.
I think there's only one. No, there's two. There was one in the third movie, right? In Rise of Skywalker, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, but she's like a nobody character. That didn't go anywhere.
There's only one. I think it's her.
Is there? Well, I'm trying to think. I mean,
It's her.
yeah, because someone's saying in the chat because I'm like
I only can think of this
I don't
one.
think so. I don't think there's.
Well, Daryl Dawson, but she's
Yeah,
not-
but she's
not
mostly
black.
in makeup.
She's an alien.
Yeah, she's mostly in
No,
makeup,
Rose is
yeah.
Rose is not black. She's
Rose is Asian. I said black female
Yeah.
actress, like
But she does
in
have a
Star Wars.
point. He does have a good point here because they kind of in the third movie, Rise of Skywalker, she's completely like basically not even a side character anymore. She's like basically a cameo in that movie for 2 minutes. She didn't have a
yeah,
big,
Rose doesn't have a big role at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, Star Wars was only, they had the original trilogy, they had the prequel trilogy. This was the opportunity when they could have made some cool characters who were diverse, but the diverse characters were either characters who aren't interesting like Rey, they were just overpowered and, they didn't have anything interesting to them.
Yeah,
Or you had characters like Finn who were just like a waste of potential and didn't lead to anywhere. So
yeah, they completely like shafted Brit. Well, if you really think
Finn.
about in the trilogy, the sequel trilogy, they kind of shafted the diverse characters.
Yeah. And this is why I say like they're like this whole diversity push that they're saying, it's just not true at
Yes.
all.
Yes.
I mean, some of the most diverse characters in Star Wars have been the least interesting characters. So, I mean, besides Andor, even Andor, the thing is, the show is good, but I don't feel like Andor is some amazing character. I just think the whole premise of the show
Yes.
and how he fits into it all is better. Not to say
Yeah.
he's this great character. And I think that's why the show didn't do well. It's just because the character's kind of like, eh.
Well, we know the end result.
Yeah, the character was riding the Space Horse. Like, they were trying to set that character up to be like the daughter of Lando. But again, they introduced it in the last movie and then nothing happened. So if that was the case, they failed.
I never thought.
Yeah, Rey
Yeah.
could have been black.
Remember the original plan was for her just to be like a regular appearance, like their parents
Yeah,
were supposed
and
to
the
be
Last
nobody.
Jedi.
And then Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it
She's a
turns
bum.
out no, the parent was a nobody, but he was like a clone of this guy named Palpatine, and yeah, it's bullshit, man. Like,
It's like the thing about that this Palpatine, did Palpatine know he had to die in order for that to happen? Like, he knew he was gonna have a clone. He knew he had a clone out there. He made clones of himself, so he had to know Darth Vader was
I
a
don't
clone,
even
right?
know, man.
Yeah,
It's Star Wars.
yeah. it
It's
doesn't
Star
make
Wars: The
sense,
Rise
right?
of Skywalker. It was a bunch of nonsense.
And remember, they're going to make his own. Are they still playing the show with him, Lando?
Is he saying
Donald-
Lando or Mando?
Mando. But with Lando, are they still playing the show with Donald Glover? Because that's been like in the works for like what 5
Yeah,
years?
that's the show. I wonder. Well, it can't come out next year because it's not shooting. So
No.
But yeah, that was the show that they keep saying, is it gonna happen? They had a logo. I
Yeah.
mean, but I think that's why I say Star Wars Celebration will have like a couple of announcements of TV shows. Because in all honesty, like Star Wars has been more TV focused. And I mean,
It
the
was
thing is though, the
it was
TV,
last year's when they announced the movies.
yeah, I mean, the thing is like it's funny because the shows haven't been good, but the first season of Mandalorian, like, it had a lot of promise. And it's like we're a lot of shows in, and the only one that really delivered on being a good TV show was Andor.
Mhm.
You know, obvious after the Mandalorian is what I mean. So it's like I don't really know. Like, is this like at some point? Like, I know people blame Kathleen Kennedy. They're always like Kathleen Kennedy, but like, how come no one really just says like, hey, like Star Wars creatively is just not working? Like, there's
Mhm.
something wrong with these shows where is it supposed to be aimed at all this for everyone? You know what I mean? Is it aimed for the general audience, or is it like super niche? You know, that's why it's like Ahsoka, for example. I didn't watch Ahsoka because I felt like, hey, I'm not big into I'm not Rebels. I'm not this like super hardcore fan where I read the comics, I read everything. I'm pretty casual. I watch the TV show,
The
I
Iron
watch the
Man.
movies, and I play some of the games.
The Iron Man Star Wars. That'd be hilarious. Robert Downey
Yeah,
Jr.
that could have been the case.
Well, Robert Downey Jr. comes. That's more. Great if he signs off with Star Wars.
I mean, the thing is, Sideways, he still could be the Iron Man of Star Wars because he is getting a movie. And if
Yeah,
that
yeah.
movie's successful,
And
they
and
don't even
Grogu,
need to make TV shows. They'll
and
just keep making
Grogu,
movies.
and Grogu could be the sidekick like Peter Parker was in the MCU. I'm kidding.
Oh man. By the time they do that, Mando would be dead.
Yeah.
The creators and the studio executives that oversee these projects are the ones that are the most to blame. So you have creators come in like Leslie Headland and Chloe Zhao who don't create
And there's
projects that are
Harrison
designed to
Ford. There's Harrison Ford right there.
succeed. Even also with DC Birds of Prey, you know, they're not
The thing
designed
is,
to
I don't
succeed.
think that I
So
don't
they're doomed
think
from the very beginning. Now,
the thing is, whose idea was it to put those fucking member berries at the ending of the show?
Yeah.
I think they just needed to move all that. If the show was going to be successful, one, they needed to focus on a better pair of protagonists, right? The protagonists need to be have been written better. I think they needed to have been more distinct. And on top of that, too, as a casual fan, and I said this from like the first couple episodes, I
This
said
trailer. That's
it's
that's
pretty great. Oh man, yeah, the trailer is the show.
oh, okay, yeah.
But what was I gonna say? But yeah, like I think they needed to make some changes, like to make this appealing. And I also think, and I said this from the beginning, the time period in the show was not explained super well, and I think that's maybe why people fell off, because the first three episodes, they don't really clue you into this world. How is it different from the prequels? It's sort of just like, okay, we're focused on this mystery, and that should be enough, right? You would think, but the problem is it's Star Wars, so it's like, oh, there's a ton of new footage. Oh, I didn't see any of the leaks of that.
I saw the Marvel leaks. That's all I saw. I didn't see the
Yeah,
Star
that's
Wars.
all I saw. But but yeah, so I think they there could have been, I don't know, someone needed to come through and look at the scripts and be like, you need to like add this. It was mostly you need to add this and maybe clarify this, and maybe distinctly make Saul separated from being a protagonist. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, that's more my criticism. That they just shat all over him
That's
at the
not only
ending.
on the creators, but that's also on the executives who are approving this stuff. And they're not doing the creatives any favors. They should say to these creatives, they should say, and I think the executives are afraid because they don't want these creators to say,
Oh, you know what I just
like,
remembered?
nobody wants to have
What?
to
Didn't
tweet.
this show have a problem with one of the producers because the producers signed
I
on
don't remember.
and then Degrassi will say it in the comments if I'm right or wrong, but there was like some
Your
producer
fact
who
check
was
for us, Degrassi.
yeah he yeah, essentially. So there was some producer on the show, and then they went over to Apple, but they were trying to sue Disney because they were, you know, they should have gotten money or they should have been on that show or whatever. So I mean, there was some production issue with this show. So
Not exactly. They could incorporate. I mean, they could technically.
I mean, Degrassi was just saying that turn it into a comic. That's very
They,
possible.
they can rework stuff. Yeah.
Because the thing is, the High Republic. I mean, if you think about it, if they turned it into a comic, maybe that's like the best scenario for the people who did like the show. Because the High Republic comics, I don't think are doing too well. So it's like, if you already introduced people to this world, why not just say, hey, read the Acolyte comic if you want to see the entire show? But I don't think Leslie, I keep saying Headley. I don't know why. God damn. Leslie Headland.
Yeah, I made that mistake too.
I don't think she's like interested in writing the comic. She should just give someone the notes or like her
Here.
treatment and then let them do it.
Yeah.
I think that's the best scenario out of everybody, for this. The show got canceled. We didn't, the people who didn't
Or
like
just-
it, like Grace, don't need to suffer through a second season.
Just make a Darth Plagueis movie. That's all. Darth Plagueis.
I don't know about that. That's gonna have to be down the road. But
No, Darth Plagueis to me would be the movie about basically not really about Darth Plagueis, but more about the rise of Dark Sidious Palpatine.
right,
Oh,
sure.
if they make a movie about Palpatine and Sidious, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah, he called it here first.
That they were told
Yeah.
by Kathleen Kennedy, you better make sure your a show appeals to straight dudes. Like, that would look awful, even if it's true. So I wish there was more trust, and I wish that I think transparency is important, but not to the point where nobody feels they're in a safe creative space to build the best thing possible. I mean, you can say, I think you should say you need that element in your show. Don't create the show that's just that way. But you need to remember that this type of fan is the biggest fan for. This is what they should say to the creators. They should say, "Hey, I'm so excited you're joining the world of Star Wars, and I'm excited that you want to bring a different type of character and story."
I don't think that's the problem.
You feel more welcome.
I don't think that's the problem with Headland at all, because as we've seen, she added in a bunch of stuff that, I mean, yeah, I wasn't aware of those things because I'm not this like hardcore Star Wars fan. I only watch the movies, so there was stuff like in the show that were very like, that the metal that Quimir was using. So it's not like the show wasn't trying to appeal to hardcore Star Wars fans. It's just like I said, the story's not very good. The protagonist is very boring. The first 3 episodes, if you weren't invested, yeah, you would just have turned off. The thing is, it was just a bad show. That's really it. And I don't think anybody could have really have saved the show. You know what I mean? Like,
Creamer
yeah, well, he was popular on Twitter and all these other places.
Why. I wonder why Kyber was popular.
Yeah, I mean,
Thirst trap.
obviously he was popular with the set of people who liked the show, but the show was canceled because the show didn't do well. So it's like, I mean, they're gonna somehow bring back. They clearly see that there is some section of people who did like this. I mean, it's hard to deny that this wasn't like beloved somewhere, because I see it on Twitter and Threads and all these places. So knowledge came from
However,
Crisper is a typical snack. Not a chip, not a cracker. We're one of a kind.
you need.
I mean, I really think they should just make the comic then.
Are straight.
Yeah.
So this will not succeed if you do not have some element.
I know you did,
that will appeal to
Degrassi.
them.
I know we did, yeah.
And I think have almost had
But I
that
mean,
Yeah, I
with
know you're
again,
right.
Acolyte
the
with
I know you're about to
reality
say.
is
I
people
think the
turned.
film
They said
was a really
that they
great,
turned off after season,
you know,
not season, episode 3, which I think is fair. I feel
Yeah.
like if you watch like 3 episodes of a show and you're not feeling it, that's fine. And I mean, each episode it
It's
trailed
so
off and got
weird.
to the point where now the last episode is one of the least
It,
viewed finales, which is insane.
it's so weird. Episode 4 is actually one of the weird things. Episode 4 is one of the best Star Wars episodes on Disney Plus ever.
Yeah.
Everything. But
I mean, the
anyhow,
middle episodes were pretty good, but the thing is, majority of the
yeah,
people didn't see
did
those
not watch them.
episodes.
Cause yeah,
So they should have. I mean, yeah, I think maybe it was a mistake to have episode 3 be the flashback episode. Maybe it should have been
well,
5.
it was a mistake, but yeah, placing was bad. I mean, episode 4, there was a lot of surprises. Like I did not expect the whole Jedi team to basically be wiped out like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that part was actually pretty decent. There is some
Yeah.
decent stuff in the show action wise, but I mean,
Yes.
what Grace is saying is she's kind of right. Like the action was it was really in the middle of the show or the later parts of the show, like the because in the first episode you do have the fight scene, and then the rest of the episode is kind of like, okay, yeah, there's not a lot of action. The second episode, I'm kind of blanking on the second episode because it merges
Not
so much
really
with the first
action.
one.
No, not a lot of action. Second,
Yeah, so it was like
at the
you
end of
really
the
had to have been invested into the mystery, and I don't think the mystery. There's just the problem with the show is the writing. We said this when we finished the show. Now that the show's canceled, the problem was always the writing. That's why
yeah,
people didn't stick around. That was really it. And
yeah,
and I think they just like it could happen again. I mean, it could happen to a show that we both end up liking. Like example, Andor was a good show, but it didn't get the views, and it was just lucky that they got a season 2. That was like a compromise. You know what I mean? Like that really didn't need to happen. But
and I bet you Leslie Headland's like, how come we didn't compromise with me for a season 2?
I mean, the compromise would be a comic, in my opinion. That's
Yeah,
what I would say to her. But
yeah.
he had a lot of potential. And one of the biggest problems I had with the show is I thought they assassinated his character in more ways than one. So yeah.
yeah.
So
Well,
so,
I mean,
yeah.
by the way, she was
I don't know, I
100% right
do
about
think
that.
it's very
I was wrong.
What? So?
Yeah, because she was the one saying. Remember, we had this whole. I'm gonna like push back on what she was saying. I was completely wrong about that because the final episode just proved it right. So
Mm.
yeah,
I didn't like how bleak they made him. Like, why?
Kathleen Kennedy did not show up at D23 for the fan panels. She only showed up on the final day to present Harrison Ford with his Disney Legends Award, and that Dave Filoni was representing the brand at the fan panels. Although I want to point out that Dave Filoni also had a hand in
Excuse me.
damn, bless you, damn, that was crazy loud.
I know.
Acolyte and was mentoring Leslie Headland. And I wish that he had, also maybe gently given her some advice so that her project could have succeeded. Because I did think she had a lot of good stuff there. That's what makes this
Yeah, but he,
tough on all these projects.
but
But he's
this
one
claim
behind
of
it.
yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, he's the one who hired her. I don't even really
Her
know
hired her.
about that.
And he-
But I mean, but it's not. The thing is, like, Dave Filoni, I feel like is just like this crutch for the hardcore Star Wars fans. Like, we have yet to see his stuff become 100% mainstream like the rest of the popular Star Wars stuff, as in the trilogy, the original trilogy, and we'll just leave it as that, right? It's like, okay, yeah, he dabbled in the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars was more. Whoops, someone's cooking down there. But anyway, the prequel, he did the Clone Wars, right? Then he did Rebels. But the thing is, those things were appeal to a very like
Yes.
it was for the hardcore fans. And the thing
Yes.
is, Star Wars has become so geared toward the casual fans of just being like, I like the movies and I go see the movies no matter what. So it's like them being like, oh, Dave Filoni, he's the Star Wars guy. To be honest, I don't. like you can get someone who is the lore guy and he knows everything and correct some things and all that stuff. But I still think you need a person who is coming into Star Wars. They like Star Wars, but they have a unique take on it, and that's what's going to bring everybody in the door. Because I mean, this happens to us too, right? As fans, we have like the goggles on, and we don't realize that there's some things that will go over other people's heads that
Mhm.
are casual fans. But because we're so much like in the trenches and we know all this stuff, we're watching videos, reading books, and doing all this stuff, right? That it kind of gets ignored, right? Like we ignore that, hey, that might be a concern. And so that's why I'm like Dave Filoni to me, and again, I know this is controversial, but I think they gotta stop hanging their hat on him too much. Cause it's like until he makes something that until he makes the movie and the movie is super successful and it makes $1 billion and everybody loves it and it's like damn this like reinvigorated my love of Star Wars, then I'll start to give him more credit. But it's like Ahsoka, the shows that he's made so far, I mean, they seem very similar to the Acolyte. So where it's like, yeah, we'll sprinkle in some fan service, some interesting stuff, some callbacks and this and that. But what about the story? What about the storytelling, the characters, where the arcs that they have, the themes and ideas? I don't know. It's just this is my ultimate conflict with Star Wars. It's like it's like yeah, you have the casual fans who are Star Wars fans, and then you have the hardcore fans who are like lore masters. They know everything. Like every time someone tries to explain to me some of the lore in Star
You're like,
Wars,
what?
I'm like bored as hell. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, I like lore and other stuff, but Star Wars lore just doesn't interest me. It's like to me, Star Wars is the visuals, the sound design, right? The hero's journey. Those are the things that I like about Star Wars, right? Where it's like, oh, the aesthetic, it's so cool. But when someone starts explaining to me about the Sith and the Jedi, I just fall asleep. It's not like where's like I don't see anything relatable. I don't see anything that has conflict or like, oh, this is deep and interesting and you can like, have a discussion on it with your buddy. It's just sort of like, okay, yeah, I mean, but that's for me, right? Other people like
Mhm.
it, but I'm just saying personally for me, not my cup of tea. And it's kind of interesting that when they do that, it's not the most successful thing. But when they go back to the original movies or they do something more movie like, well, look at it makes a bunch of money. I.e. The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is pretty simple when it comes to Star Wars. There's not a lot of lore. It's just like you jump in, and even if you don't know Star Wars, it's very easy to follow. This show, I don't think it's easy to follow for casual fans. And the people who are like on Twitter and these types of people who are like, I've never been a Star Wars fan, but they like this. That like those are the people I really want to know and ask them. Like genuinely like what can you like elaborate and stuff? Because again, I'm sort of like blind, I mean that's a pun, but
I mean, I mean,
oh damn, I've been going on so long.
Harrison
Fuck.
Ford. Harrison Ford didn't want to really be all that much in the sequels anyway. He was one movie and that's it. Um,
But he wasn't in one movie and that was it. He was in The Rise of
yeah,
Skywalker.
yeah, he was kind of, but he didn't want to be made focus going on.
Yeah, they wasted a lot on the movies. Again, we're like, I bet,
That's true.
I really should bet on this. Like in the next 2 years, let's say, I'll keep it shorter. When Mandalorian comes out, or there's another show that comes out, I don't think Star Wars is just going to be in the same place. I don't think it's going to like dramatically change, even when we do get good things, because
I agree.
the, yeah, we have because it's like the problem's not really being addressed. And on top of that, too, the subsection of people who are loud on one side or the other, they're always just going to have the same opinion. So
Yeah,
It's a shame, man. It's a shame.
You know, like there's good stuff here. I think that the Acolyte had very good elements. I genuinely liked the first 5 episodes, and I thought 6 was okay. It was that they lost.
Yeah,
me
I
in the
don't get
last
when
2.
she says
And
this.
again,
When
I'd like to
she's,
point out,
I don't
Acolyte
understand
saved
that.
a lot of stuff for season 2 that once again never came. Stop doing this. Stop doing it. Like,
Stop
let me
doing
Yeah, I
it.
the fact
agreed.
that at the end of the Han Solo origin story, they brought in Darth Maul as a tease for a sequel, and you're like, why wasn't Darth Maul in this movie to begin with?
Agreed, agreed.
You
Mhm.
know, don't save anything for later because later might not come.
But you know,
All
also
right, so
too,
let's
to
talk
their
about
credit, you know, again, if I'll defend Kathleen Kennedy and the producers involved because, again, I keep saying they should take cues from Marvel, but that idea of saving stuff for later down the road, that's a Marvel idea. So
Yes.
I can't blame them 100% because it's like, well, why are we just gonna blow our load, you know, on one season and just show you everything when we could spread this out and give you the goods every season, right? So it makes sense, but in hindsight now, yeah, it wasn't a great idea. They should have, you know, take now that this is not working of like setting up stuff and trying to pay it off in a, you know, potential sequel or season 2, maybe they should just focus on doing mini series. Let's tell one story, and when the story's done, if it's well received, then we'll continue it. Because in Star Wars, you can always do a sequel. You can always do another thing. So that shouldn't really be this like, oh, like we can't just tell a singular story in one season. It's like, no, it's Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Get to the Khmer Darth Plagueis
the
part.
next project thing here.
well,
What about
I'm to
fan
blame.
favorite Khmer? People pointed out
Oh, there was
yesterday was
finally.
Cinto. Thank you for correcting me
Finally.
on his
Who
pronunciation.
ended
Manny
after? I
Jacinto.
don't know.
Yesterday was his
How
birthday,
long she-
apparently. And
Yeah,
he
and they
got canceled.
Yep.
She's thirsty for Red Hawk and thirsty for Khmer.
Bruh.
She wants a three-way with them.
Yeah, I
Michael
agree,
says, I think Michael,
fanfic. I
you're a
agree.
glutton for punishment. Michael says, I think LGBT. So Michael thinks that LGBT
Yeah, that's
women
true.
lead doesn't bring in that audience automatically. Make great
Well,
stories.
you could never have. I mean,
suggestion for
Mando
creativity.
Grogu
I
is
don't
going to
think
be
so.
that.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
agree with that.
this is where
necessarily,
she
because look at so many
disagrees.
successful female leads like Ripley
What?
in the Alien
I
franchise,
was reading.
Sarah Connor in Terminator.
Oh, never mind.
I
Sorry, I
think
agree
that
with her here.
That's
Never
not
mind.
true. I think the goal is
I
create
misheard
female
what he
leads,
was saying.
LGBT leads that appeal not only to the groups that they represent, but also to the straight male audience. You know,
Well,
the
well,
straight
that's
male
why
audiences
they
do
say
like
you
these
make
characters. I mean,
relatable
they
characters. You make
get them
characters
around.
with struggles. You give them flaws. You give them things that people can see themselves in. And that's what I don't understand about this whole like identity thing, where it's like a lot of these people who are coming into this stuff, it's like they want to just see a character in the world that looks like them. But to most of us, or at least maybe it's a guy thing, most people don't want to just see, okay, yeah, I see a black guy on screen, I'm black, and therefore I'm happy. I think it's a little bit deeper, and I think storytelling should be a little bit deeper than just the guy looks visually like me, and therefore I can relate to him, even though the movie has nothing to do with being black
Yeah.
or being gay or being whatever identity you identify as.
Yeah.
They should instead, and this is an example that they should have done with Ray. They should have made Ray a more flawed, interesting character who is struggling with the Force, who maybe is overwhelmed with powers, and that hurts her, and maybe that makes her do bad decisions along the way, right? Where, or you know, you try to find a way where the character can have flaws, and that it's more appealing to everyone. Because the thing is, there can be a female character, but guys can still relate to them, and vice versa. So they just need to work on that. They need to work on not just making female characters, but make female characters that are relatable, that are interesting, that have some depth to them, that have some struggle, some, you know, something in their past or something that they're, you know, ashamed of, but yet they overcome it. That Let me just say, oh, you know what that's called? You know what that's called? You know what that's called, Aaron?
What?
Storytelling.
Well, story
God
time.
forbid. God forbid. Right? God forbid we tell a story about people struggling and overcoming it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I don't know. Star Wars is just
I think that's very, very important. And I think if the show had had more action sequences like episode 5, think about it. In the beginning, that's when it was the most action heavy. I absolutely adored the episode
It was
5
episode
sequence. And I
5,
thought the
actually.
fight with Carrie Ann Moss and also Saul when they both took over. When they both took on May.
yeah. There you go,
I wish
fanfic.
there had been almost in a show that was entirely fighting. All right, so hold on. Jacob says the mandate must be to make money first. Well, you want to I think you don't have to put it in those terms. The goal is to.
Oh yeah, I hate it when she said
while
this.
still bringing in new individuals.
Don't put it in those
Or
terms,
really
even though
bring down
that's
the
what it
budget.
is.
Like if you want to make a Star Wars show, and I feel bad for Amandla too, Armin. She was really talented and she did a wonderful job. I thought she was great. And I don't know what more you could ask. I thought she looked really cool. I thought she did a wonderful job. I thought she gave it her all. I would.
Yeah,
think that on
she did an
paper,
okay job.
she
It's the
would be
character's
really
boring.
accepted by the Star Wars
Yeah.
fandom. And it was surprising to me that they didn't even really give her a chance. All right. So anyway, Khmer, and also, by the way, I want to point out that, he was at D23. He was the only Acolyte cast member to show up to the convention, and he did draw a crowd. But again, people can say, people tweeted about it. Oh, there was a crowd at D23. They weren't watching. They weren't watching the show.
Yeah, no, they didn't watch the show.
And then also,
yeah,
of course, what about this Darth Plagueis tease? I do think it'd be interesting to continue to try and tell a Sith story.
Well, it's not even that they weren't watching because the show
problems
started
they
off strong.
introduced
It's
with
the
the
fact
Jedi
that people watched the show and then decided they did not like the show.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what people have to keep in mind.
Finally, she gets a Darth Plagueis. Finally.
Problematic, and I hope that Star Wars heard people and heard fans saying, you have to make it clear that it's really unusual to have an evil Jedi. Let's not.
You know what? They should just come out if this show's canceled. Let's say they should just come out. Yeah, and say that's Darth Plagueis. Just basically.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, because they never admitted if it was who it was.
Yeah, out.
I guess it's just an assumption on most people's part.
Yeah, might as well just admit it since it's canceled. I know they have other plans for him.
She probably will in the coming
or
years or something. Yeah.
Yeah, probably the interview. Something. Yeah.
Put all of the Jedi into a gray zone. So I think it's kind of weird that Darth
not a Jedi,
showed
he's
up
a
at
Sith.
all, considering the way things went down. Because now it's just this open-ended weirdness.
It was a mistake.
What's happening? Although I did appreciate the funny comments online about whether or not he was watching Khmer skinny dip as well. I saw somebody do such a funny thing on that. It was hilarious that not only was
Yeah, I don't know what connection he had to Khmer. I don't know.
Osha watching Khmer in the pool, but so was Darth Plagueis. I thought that was really funny. Would I maybe continue with Osha and Khmer on that island with Darth Plagueis? I maybe potentially would.
No.
But I would never continue with this creative team. I just don't have confidence in them anymore. And I'd be like, take home.
Yeah, but that would be called the Acolyte. Continue it. If she wanted that to continue, might as well just she might as well just greenlight season 2 if she wanted that to continue with a different team. You could do the next season with a different team. You could do that. Oh, whatever. Just make Darth Plagueis.
Part that your creations live on with other people.
Here.
I didn't know what to expect from Jan Deere. A lot of bones in the dirt.
Ads.
So, but anyway, yeah. It's a shame what happened to the show. All right, so those are my points. And we'll see, I think they'll take a break from this, but I think Kareem agrees with me. Great ideas on the Acolyte. Crucial. And these things are all things that
is she doing the credits now?
Hollywood should be taking their cue from.
Yeah, she
and it
moves
really
on.
makes me so happy to see that.
Okay, we don't need her. We don't need her to answer people's questions or respond to them. You don't need to hear that. Bye, Grace.
Yeah, right when my headphone dies. I've been talking too much, so it said I'm done. Just died.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 2 hours 50. Our stream 10 minutes before 12.
Yeah, we're almost at
that's
3 hours.
Yeah, I told you it would be long. That's our stream, guys. Actually, it's over with. Grace talked about it.
Yeah, we had a hell of a talk, man.
Yeah. I wish there was more. I wish John Campion did another Fantastic Four dumb takes.
Oh God, Campia. I mean, at the end of the day, Star Wars is very simple. Do not listen to the chuds. There's not a win for the chuds.
Listen to us.
Okay, just all you got to do is focus on good characters, making great stories that are interesting, that fit within the Star Wars universe, that appeal to an adult demographic like Marvel, but you could still make toys for the kids.
Yeah, merchandise,
And you could,
toys.
yeah, because you obviously these are,
We'll,
they call them 4 quadrant movies. They got to appeal
we'll,
to everybody.
here's a test. I don't know how much of a test it would be. Star Wars this game comes out in 10 days. Outlaw.
Yeah, Outlaws.
Yeah.
We'll see if that's even good, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll see
All
the
right, guys.
reviews.
Thank you for coming on Blind and where we can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Threads, where hopefully I don't give as crazy controversial opinions like here.
I noticed you get more traction on Threads than you did on Twitter.
Yeah. I don't have as much followers as I did, but I do get more.
But yeah, you get more. You get more. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
thank
nice
you, guys.
chat too, fanfic. And everybody who showed up, Degrassi, Sideways, Anthony, RJ, John,
whole gang.
Jan was here, Kevin was here.
Red shirt off.
Red, yeah. So there was a lot of people who showed up here. So, thank you to
One
you
more
guys.
people as
Added
well.
an interesting discussion. Even if we didn't agree on everything, we all have our different opinions.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this discussion fun. Not
And
because,
yes.
everybody
And
gets to say their own piece.
I'll
Even
let you
though
on.
I'm talking like majority of the time.
Yeah.
I need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Who's
'cause
gonna
you're
tell me to
ramped
shut
up.
the
You've
fuck
been ramped
up
up
one
of late a lot.
day? Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Next 2 days, we're not gonna be looking at YouTube pundits like Grace, John, wherever else, YouTuber movie pundits. We're not gonna look at them the next 2 days. We're gonna do something more relaxed.
Right.
Tomorrow I'm going to look at a DC stream. There's some juicy rumors about Lanterns, Waller, and other stuff. Possibly. We're going to look at that for DC. And then we're going to look at Marvel. And Marvel, we're not talking strictly what's in the rumors for the MCU. This is not a rumor. It won't be a rumor MCU stream. But it will be something fun. And basically it's going to be about what character from the comics would you like to see in the MCU? And it has to be a character that's never appeared in the MCU. For example, Ghost Rider. Okay?
Well, technically.
Ghost Rider was supposed to originally, yes.
Technically,
Yes.
because he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That counts. Well, actually, they wanted him for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, they had concept art, which is a shame.
Yeah. So
because that was that was the character I also said
it's mostly heroes, but if you want to burn some villains, feel free to in that stream. That'll probably be Thursday. But let you know if there is something that catches my eye from like John, Grace, or like Doom Caucus every day has something that catches my eye. I just don't. I don't know.
Screw Doom. Screw the cock.
Screw the cock. There was something I wanted to do an as in July the other day. I think I showed you that clip.
Oh yes, yeah.
Whatever.
There's probably going to be news. It's only Tuesday, so the week's not over yet.
Oh,
because this dropped yesterday, and we were all like, "Damn."
Also, I hope you all enjoyed GameCon. Whatever. Today. So next 2 days of Marvel and DC, and Friday we might do a pundit, a YouTube pundit, a movie pundit. Somebody. I don't know. I'll say this: it's most likely to be John Campion and Grace, because John Campion is a lot more active on YouTube. It could be other people, not just necessarily John Camp or Grace, but if it was done between these two, it would most likely be John Camp because he does a show every day and he releases the segments every day. So yeah. Make sure to share, subscribe, comment below. Bye.
Peace, guys.